Just gonna wait for this beautiful face piano to quit. Welcome, everybody. Nice to see you. Hi, and welcome back. We're here again today. It is Monday. I was informed earlier it is a holiday, and I didn't really think this through because we could have taken today off, too. However, we got lots of stuff to get to because Easter was this weekend, and it was a huge mess for a lot of people. Virtue signaling everywhere. We got planes full of church people fucking losing their minds. We got Tucker Carlson trying to teach everybody about what's what when it comes to how to love a man from a distance. We've got a ton of stuff to get to today, including but not limited to those things I talked about, some fashion tips. We've got everything happening today, and we're in Ottawa, we're in Edmonton, and we're in beautiful Hamilton. Please welcome everybody to the program. Lachlan Cross, 95.7 Cruise FM in Edmonton. Ryan Lindley from the Sheeple Shepherd podcast. He's here as well, at Ryan Lindley on Twitter, at Lachlan Cross on Twitter. And from IvisonVoice.com and the host of the Let's Take This Outside podcast, dressed as a furry today. Please welcome Marianne Ivison.
Hi, Dad.
A furry convention.
I was just trying to get in the spirit today. I wasn't going for the furry.
I tried to nail myself to a cross, but I couldn't reach my mouse, so I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I was gonna ease into the evangelical hate today, but thanks for fucking blowing the top right off.
You know what I find. What I find interesting is the one thing that I learned about my broadcast career. Is that you there's some things you stay away from, right? And I specifically have attempted to stay away from a few things based on my lack of knowledge of them, largely, but also. Knowing full well that you can't win. And one of them is staying away from taking shots at religion. So I find it very interesting of how rebellious this podcast is in that regard.
Somebody watches and gave Locke shit. That's what's happening.
No. That has nothing to do with it. I am still, we say awful things on this podcast. I say awful things all the time on this podcast, and the only stuff that kind of gets me tweaking religion a little bit is the religion stuff, because I don't know how to defend it. I think right, if somebody did come after me, I wouldn't. You're so full of shit. If somebody did come after me
to death.
I would have a real hard time defending you dicks.
I mean, I understand where you're coming from, because if you didn't grow up in it and you weren't immersed in it like Dean and I were as kids, I would totally get why you wouldn't want to touch it. But we saw it and it was garbage.
Well,
we got speed bagged by it.
I mean, I know nothing about it, and I see the hypocrisy in it all the time. And my level of distrust and pure hatred for religion as a whole has grown immensely over the last couple of years.
No, just
from what we've gone through. But I do find it interesting how frivolous some of the people on this podcast are, and involved in sort of roundabout way. That text group this week, I opened it up and I went, holy shit.
Well, dude,
there's a lot of memes.
Can I address that? Because I may or may not have led some type of a charge this weekend against organized religion. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? I don't really know. But all I know is this. That I did everybody a fucking favor this weekend. And you can say whatever you like about how you feel about your personal religion. I never go after personal religion. I never go after people, never go after the things that they want. But to your point, over the last 2 years, we've been held hostage by these people. So I think it's okay. Not only do I think it's okay, I'm what you call an apostate. If you know what that is, it's an incredible word. And I wear it with pride.
It's enlarged.
Yeah. We're both apostate. You're Catholic apostate. I'm Christian apostate. And you can take pills for it to make it smaller, but you might piss yourself at night. It's different.
Don't confront me.
Every night at midnight. Every night. I have to go to the bathroom.
So you have apostate
Totally
too?
different. No, it's not. It's a prostate. That's what you
Do I have one?
Oh.
No, you don't.
I thought mine was going to be fine based on how much I masturbate. Like, I can open up a pickle jar with mine.
At altitude, it does damage to it, apparently.
So my point is this.
It
there
can't
a
get too
graph?
much exercise.
Can you
It can't
show
get
me
too
on a-
much exercise.
Do you have a
I've
doll you can
had-
show me on?
No, apostate.
so-
Just let me
sorry.
back up.
I'm sorry, Dean.
Apostate. He asks for 3 fingers. I only ask for 2. Apostate is someone
only
who
had
was
2 up.
in.
I only
was-
had 2 up.
Apostate is someone who was in the religion.
Don't be afraid.
Knows everything about the religion. Knows how fucked religion is. Excommunicates himself from said religion, and then uses all that knowledge that he accrued under the apologetics of that religion to fuck said religion. That's me. Ta-da!
Yeah, and I act the same way.
So did you anoint yourself, or
Yeah.
was this bestowed upon you?
It's bestowed upon me by the years of abuse that the church has committed on to people. The residential school
there
thing
a
really set
ceremony?
me loose. What's
No,
that?
it's like getting a watch at the end of their 25 years.
No. They fucking hate me, dude. Every person in the church fucking hates me. I got hammered with Christian hate this weekend. And you know what it came from? There's 2 tweets that did it for me. 2 things did it for me this Easter weekend. 2. And I'll show you both of them. This is the first one. I put it out today. This is a guy named John Gotti who's been running around telling everybody how important Christianity is. He says, Canada was founded on Christianity. It remained that way until 2015 when Trudeau decided to hate Christians for political reasons. I just fucking, it was so good. But the other thing that did it for me was a video. And it was from this weekend. Now, the video in question is a church service. And you'd say, no big deal, Dean. Why are you getting all jiggy with the church service? There's people in church just having a service. Leave them alone. No. This one was at 30,000 feet. This is a church service
So
that
they're
was forced
they
upon.
got a lot of God in them if they're that
Real
high up,
close.
right?
This is a church service. Yeah, they did. That they were so close to Christ when they did this service. Everybody was so happy.
Angels.
There's a church
They're angels.
service where people that were like born again Christians, they got on this fucking plane and they're heading somewhere for Easter or whatever, going on a trip. And apparently there were a bunch of Christians on this plane, and some jagoff with a fucking guitar stands up and he breaks out into a church service. Let's watch this together, shall we? And then we'll talk about why I hate it so much. Look at the guy in the plaid shirt right in front of the guitar dude. Check him out.
That's Brad Hopper, isn't it?
You see that dude's face? He is fucking not having any of it. He's like, you got to be kidding me. I got to sit here and listen to this jack-off sing about Jesus Christ. And this is my whole problem. Look at his face. Look at that fucking face.
Can we remove? Okay, I know this is not the point, but can we remove the religion from it for like 1 second from this?
Sure.
And there's just some jerks just like playing a guitar on a plane. I think that alone and singing along with your buddies on the plane, like that would piss me off. That would be like really upsetting. I'm just trying.
Yeah. They're
Have
the
you not
same
seen The
Remove the
Wedding
religion.
Crasher? Billy Idol got up in the middle of it. The whole fucking plane loved it because it wasn't a religious song, and it was Billy Idol singing it, not some religious.
It was
freak
also
from
a movie.
Poughkeepsie.
No, this would still.
It doesn't
still annoy
happen.
me.
That doesn't happen.
No.
These are the same douchebags that clap when the plane lands.
Yeah.
That's who they are.
We're live.
Oh, yay, the plane's down.
We're live. So incredible. Point proven, Marianne Iveson from ivasonvoice.com at MA on the air.
Thank you for the
Just a
plug.
little
Appreciate that.
You're very
you.
welcome. By the way, Marianne is an incredible voice talent. If you're looking for someone to voice your stuff,
Little
there you
side
go.
thing. Thank
Little
you.
side hustle. But those things drove me this weekend, as did a litany of other things. Like I saw a video of like a church service where like a 12-year-old boy dressed in just a tunic popped out from behind this rock and pretended to be Jesus in a Jesus play, and the place went nuts. I saw the carrying of the cross this weekend. I saw, people admonishing each other. And then I saw this from Dr. Bassani, and then this happened today. Right. Let me just put this. So this is another religious person, Diego Bassani. He's a doctor. He's been telling people to get vaccinated. His wife died during the pandemic. So he gets this sent to him by an evangelical, angry person. So funny watching you cry like a bitch on Twitter about your dead wife. You deserve that and so much more. She died because you're a scumbag piece of dog shit human being. I hope you suffer never
Hold
ending.
on, that's not from a religious person.
Yeah. Oh, it for sure is. and I will be there every step of the way. Why don't you just kill yourself and join her in hell? That is absolutely. I got the details from the person. A lot of people weaponizing Christianity this weekend. So I thought it was my job to go on a bit of a tangent, as did Lynn's, as did, as you can tell by the start of our thing, where he said he was going to try and nail himself to something, but he couldn't reach his mouse. Probably bad form. And I got questioned a lot by it, and I got a lot of hate tweets for it.
Joke.
Oh, you didn't?
I couldn't reach the mouse.
Couldn't reach the mouse because his hands were nailed to the cross.
Because hands were
I
up.
couldn't log in to the podcast.
Oh.
I like when we explain jokes.
Yeah.
I like
Sorry. Sometimes I'm a couple of steps behind.
That's how we take the air out of it anyway. Thanks, Locke.
So a couple of things went up this weekend. This was one of them. This came from Army Chris.
Okay, this is funny.
This is great.
I brought the
really funny.
It's even funnier if you know Dave, because he always shows up with a shrimp ring.
We met Dave. Remember, he was on his podcast. He was with him in Mexico.
So this is a picture of the Last Supper. Army Chris has photoshopped
Is that
Dave's.
offensive?
It was, yeah. I got hated on about this because people don't like shellfish.
Whose head did he? Who is
That's
that?
Dave's
Another
head.
one of the apostles?
No, Dave is one of the apostles right there, and he's brought the shrimp ring. So people didn't like that. Dave brought the shrimp ring. I was like, no big deal. It's not that big of a deal.
I think that's actually one of the commandments: "Thou shalt not bring a shrimp ring to Easter." To the Last Supper.
I'm almost positive it is, to be honest with you.
We always believed that there was only 10,
I like
but
a shrimp
I heard there
ring.
might have
What's
been
wrong
like
with the
15 or
shrimp
20,
rings?
but those ones
Got that
broke.
red dip.
Yeah,
Sauce.
the red dip is just horseradish. And by the way, I learned this weekend because I'm like, what is that dip anyway? Because I love the dip too. When I saw Jesus with the shrimp ring, I'm like, Jesus would love the dip. Yes, go ahead.
Can I ask a question about Easter and how we go? And I know that how do we get from the religious part of Easter to mini eggs and cream eggs and Easter bunnies? Like where was that? Like in this? Like I got this at the dollar store. So how do we get from that to this?
I've asked this question on my show a couple of times, and it has something to do with the fertility of the rabbit or something.
That's the dumbest answer for that question I've ever heard. You
I could
just made
Google
all that up.
Rebirth and the rabbit.
You just made that whole fucking thing up.
No.
Yeah, you did. I know you just did.
I did not.
You did. That's
Is
why
it
you're
like
laughing.
is it like the rebirth of like spring and bunnies and like that stuff?
Yeah. And the rabbit is well known for
fucking. Yeah, go ahead. Well, why?
Okay, but
that
but
has
why,
nothing to do with Easter.
Why
rabbit
yes.
fucking has nothing to do with the religiosity going into
have
chocolate
a lot
eggs.
of birth,
Why did we hide the eggs?
right?
That was
Why do we hide
Jesus'
the
last
eggs?
words, by the way, from the cross. Hide the eggs.
Hide the eggs.
Hide
I
the
don't think
eggs.
it was. But I was
See what I mean, Marianne? It's constant.
Yeah, we don't stop.
And it's worse around religious holidays with these guys, and
It's our holiday
by
too.
it. It's shocked by. I'm shocked by
Can
it because I have been told for years. And
You're
years,
shocked by
don't
it.
touch
You're
it.
shocked by it, dude.
Well,
you've been on this show
and-
screaming
and
about how
somewhat
religion
of-
is a fucking disease and a plague
And
for the last
somewhat
2
offended
years.
at times.
Marianne, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Host the show.
I feel like I'm somewhere in between. Thank you for that. I'm so glad
You're
I'm
welcome.
getting paid for this.
Yeah,
26
Not at all.
after 3.
I'm somewhere in between because I grew up in a Presbyterian church, and my dad still goes to church, and a lot of my family still goes to church, and they're all like loving, wonderful, accepting, beautiful human beings. So although I'm not religious in that way, like nature's my church, right? I guess I just don't see. I didn't grow up in where'd you grow up? Evangelical
Christian churches.
Yeah. So I guess I didn't see the aggressiveness of it. I guess I didn't see the hate of it. So I guess I'm more like a little bit in between about. So I understand where Locke's coming from on that, but also
the thing that I have found through my days of and my lack of understanding of religion and trying to figure it out from people that I know and associate with is that I find that, and Dean talks about this all the time. I think he's even mentioned it today, that a lot of people weaponize religion and they use it as a tool to, I don't know scold people or make themselves feel better about the lives they live, or
to tell you that the life you're living isn't as good as theirs and you're going to hell if you don't live it. Case in point, the convoy in the last 2 years and everybody who refuses to get vaccinated. Anyway, continue. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I would, even if those people weren't religious, that type of personality and that type of energy I would avoid in my life. So I don't know many people like that. I'm like you, Marianne. Anybody that I know that's religious, and I've had a couple of people in my life try to talk to me about religion, and I shut the fucking door right away. And I'm just like, no, we don't do that. I'm not going to come to your house and try to tell you how to live your life. You're not doing it to me. And I've had to do that in work situations. I've had to do that in personal situations. And I've had to do it 3, 4, 5, 6 times. But for the most part, I know that the religious people that have faith, it's their belief structure. And they believe it for what they need it for.
Yeah.
And they don't push it.
Well, there's Christians and there's observant religious people. And then there's, like, in the Christian community, these are the people I'm talking about. These are the people that show up to convoys and try to hurt babies.
I call them extremists.
I call them Jesus weasels.
Yeah,
Jesus weasels.
Yeah. Westboro Baptist people.
Right? There's Christians. Then there's Jesus weasels. Sam Oosterhoef is a Jesus weasel. Children of the Cornhole. Wait till you find out about Sam's private life. Duplicitous little Jesus weasel I wrote. That was on April 16th. Happy Easter to Sam Oosterhoff. Sam is a 21-year-old super evangelical born-again Christian who is threatening to make abortion unthinkable in our lifetime because he thinks he knows what's best for women. And that comes from anyone?
Yes,
Anyone?
Anyone?
Mom. Evangelical Christianity.
Christian.
This was his fucking weekend. So why do you think I shit all over it? Same with Pierre Poilievre, running for the conservative leadership of Canada. Can I show you what he's been putting out over the past several years to just endear himself to the community?
This is
it's
real.
a fucking 100% real.
I love
that
this
can't be
so
real.
much.
He is risen. Pierre the Christ has risen from the dead.
That can't be real. That has to.
He's
Somebody
risen.
made that to make them look bad.
No, dude. This was from 2 years ago.
Did you vet that?
Yes, heavily.
This is from him.
Heavily. We got absolutely crushed by conservative operatives this weekend for posting this. It was the best. Everybody was like, that's from 2 years ago. I go, oh, so that's okay then? Like
he's an atheist now, apparently.
It was shitty 2 years ago. It's shitty today. It's the co-opting of a religion. It's the dog whistling towards a certain group to come and vote for him because he shares their faith, regardless of their political ideologies.
Come
vote for me because I'm the Christ.
Himself to Jesus?
Yes, it
Yes,
does.
it does.
Oh.
Is that not a mistake in that religion?
Yes.
Yeah,
It's a
he
false
chose
idol
the wrong.
that people are now worshiping, which is against God's rule, which all these people do as long as it serves themselves. But if you do it, you'll be the first one to fucking hear about it from them.
You bet.
So,
yeah, I've never spent a day in church. I've never once in my life
you missed
cracked the
out.
Bible.
You missed
And
out.
I know I know how awful that poster is. How does somebody release that?
So
It's got to
when
be
he-
fake.
Yeah, their comms team chose the wrong graphic in Canva, I think.
That's a nice.
You know what we need?
Here, what should we do?
Marianne, every once
Let's
in a
make
while,
you
we got to
look like
bring
the
her on
Christ.
just to bring balance to this program, right? Because she's a nice person and she wants to let Pierre off the hook.
It's wild.
Oh no,
isn't
that's
it?
not. I don't know if he was like I don't think he was maybe made it himself. Like I feel like we're giving him too much credit himself. That I feel it's definitely just a comms person who, and maybe that there was a messaging talked about beforehand, but he must have approved it and posted it. So, or someone posted it for him. And
So when
that's exactly what it looks like.
When they do artwork for our show, and I have I'm a 50-year-old, very unphotogenic alcoholic. I have a slightly overweight millennial on the show, and I have a raging alcoholic little person. I always make sure to have a look at the images that they use to represent the show.
Could you imagine if you did a promo for the station like this of you saying
Well, that's
Lachlan
just it.
has risen?
The locker room is risen.
Whoa.
Like what? That's what I'm saying, Dean.
Right.
That's
I know.
why I think this is fake.
It's fucking real, dude. I vetted the shit out of this. So did Lindley, and it is that not 100% real?
It is, and it's a very well welcomed, accustomed greeting at Easter. Is he is risen? He's not talking about Pierre Polyev. He's talking about Jesus. People say he is risen. Christ is risen. Blessed be whatever the fuck. You know, touch a boy. God be with you. It's all. It's not offensive. They're not saying Pierre has risen.
I don't. Just a sec there. I liked it.
Yikes! You slipped her in there, eh?
Sorry. I was brought up Catholic, so I have some scars.
Oh yeah, your experience is different. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
So
that's another podcast.
Which is tonight at 7 on the Sheeple Shepherd, by the way.
Oh, excellent.
Well,
that's what we're talking about is adverse childhood events tonight.
Oh, good for us.
Yeah, we're having a good one tonight. But yeah, it's a well-known thing. It's not like somebody said. It's not like he's saying I have risen. It's just Catholics saying.
Well, then you don't put your mug on
Easter.
it.
He is
right.
risen.
If they removed
Easter.
him from it, if they removed his picture from it and put he is risen and Pierre Polyev at the bottom, I feel like that would have been different. No.
Yeah.
Can I ask you?
They also made it look like he was in the cave. That's the other issue.
It looks like a fucking Remax ad to me.
With his little suit.
Keller Williams.
It looks like he was in the cave. You know what it looks like? Pierre just came out of the tomb of Christ with a fucking sharp suit on, going, "I'm ready to win this election." That's what it fucking looks like, doesn't it? Look at it.
Cozy space. $800,000.
That's right.
That's
not small.
If that is
Cozy.
a mistake, that is a major mistake. That is a massive mistake in my
This guy
very
might be
humble
the next
opinion.
prime minister. He's fucking running around the province and the country with like thousands of people showing up, and they're all these people. That's the thing. They're all these born-again religious zealots that fucking hate the world. Which is why I went on a tangent this weekend and posted a few things. I don't know if you guys noticed.
The ones I find interesting are the sexy Jesus stuff that you are very fond of posting, Dean.
Love posting the sexy Jesus.
Sexy Jesus is my favorite Jesus.
It doesn't stop. And it's like, you know why I post the sexy Jesus stuff all the time? Because I know what will piss all of these people off as an apostate former born-again Christian. I know how to fucking make every single one of these mouth breathers lose their shit. And it's like my favorite fucking thing to do. Mm-hmm. It's my favorite.
That's why I try not to be too critical. Right?
Yeah,
I try not to judge you too much.
Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Also, you've been all over this. Can I show you the things that we sent around in our DMs this weekend about Christianity?
I don't know if that's a good idea.
Is my shoulder in there?
I won't say who sent us these. This is a meme where Jesus is talking to Mary, and if Jesus had a girlfriend, quote, "I find it funny how you died for 3 days." I won't tell you who sent this one. 2 aliens looking at the Christ nailed to the cross with the ship in front of the actual cross.
I got that from Indian Al.
Oh, so you're going to admit to owning this one now. That's interesting.
I didn't realize our DMs were going to end up on the podcast.
Well,
today.
Here we are. You know what we need to do? One alien says to the other, we need to get the fuck out of here. That's what we need to do. Oh, it's so good.
Okay, I love how Lachlan's like, I don't like talking about religion or making fun of it, and he's laughing the hardest out of the three of you.
He is a fucking
selling old Indian owl up the river.
I'm laughing with
Here's
them.
another. "Let me in," Christ says as he knocks at the door. "Why?" says the person inside. "So I can save you," says Christ. "From what?" says the person inside. "From what I'm going to do to you if you don't let me the fuck in." Oh, boy. I mean, they invite it. They invite it with the hatred, so I had a great weekend. That's all I wanted to say. I had a fucking great
What'd you eat on Friday?
When's the
pork?
next
I ate so much pork.
Same here. I made
I had so much bacon this weekend. I had like 2 pounds of bacon by myself.
Oh, Marianne. You're a girl after my own heart.
Yeah.
Like, imagine even that part this weekend where everybody's like, "Oh, you can't eat certain foods this weekend." It's like, I got a fucking long weekend. I want to eat whatever I want. No, your religion says you can't eat pork because it's a sin. Are you kidding me? Bacon the fuck out of me on that day.
I didn't know that bacon was an issue with Christianity.
I weirdly didn't know that.
Leviticus said to touch the flesh of a dead pig is to be dirty and unclean.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously pork shoulders.
Why
bacon.
do they hate on something so tasty? I mean, you can snap anything off that pig and it tastes good.
Mm-hmm.
Throw a couple of snouts in a soup and that's a fucking decent soup.
Why is ham so big then?
Well, that's on Sunday because all of a sudden on Sunday it's okay to eat it again.
But you can't have ham.
But you're not supposed to eat. You're not supposed to touch it. I guess if you make it with gloves on.
If it doesn't touch you when it's in your mouth?
It makes no sense. No, the reason why is it makes no sense. It's just the church trying to tell people to leave some pork for the religious people because, like, the priests are probably going to need it. That's literally where it came from. It was like this invention. It's this invention of, like, the religious church and so many of them saying, hey, don't eat any pork. And then the kings wanted all the pork. And the same thing with certain foods. Fishes on Friday, don't eat that because it went to the nobility. True? Yeah, it's 100% true. Yeah. And so now, 2,000 years ago, I feel like I was. 2,000 years ago, everybody's like, oh, we don't eat pork today. That was 2,000 years ago. We have pork in the stores. Go get some pork. Go get some beef. Go get some chicken. Imagine that fucking religion dictating what you can and can't eat. Imagine that.
No.
Imagine a religion that says you got to go to church on a fucking Sunday and then Sunday night. And imagine a religion that says you can't be unequally yoked or everybody else is a fucking loser except the people that believe what you believe. Yoked? That's what we deal with on this weekend, right?
We can't put that on YouTube.
What's that?
What's yoked?
Yoked?
Yeah,
unequally
what's
yoked? So in the Bible, it talks about how Christians cannot hang out with non-believers. You cannot marry someone who is not of the same faith and doesn't believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of Man. And they call marrying someone or being friends with someone who does not believe the same apologetic policy that you believe or the same ideology, which is evangelical Christianity. They call those people unequally yoked. You've been your yoke is worth more, so the person you are as a Christian is worth more than a non-Christian, which is really where the whole thing starts. That's why they have this fucking sense of entitlement, every single one of them, and they tell you that the world's going to hell and we shouldn't have to be like you and fuck you and dude, that was the thing, right? Like this guy said the loud part on Twitter this weekend. This John Gotti, Canada was founded on Christianity. It remained that way until 2015 when Trudeau decided to hate Christians for political reasons. Guess what? That's the loud part for all those people that went to Ottawa. That's the loud part right there. I mean, that's what I'm fighting, and that is my joy, and I do it all the time. Case in point, Tucker Carlson. Did you guys see?
So am I a yokel?
You're a yoke. You're a bad yoke because you're not a Christian. We have 4 bad yokes here. Terrible yokes.
I'm a great
festering yoke.
I'm wearing ears. I'm
are
a great yoke.
You're a great bunny.
That's
but
that's
yoke.
a religious symbol. We've covered that in the beginning of the podcast.
Yeah.
Well, as Locke explained. As Locke explained.
They're the birth of. They give birth a lot. So
one of the things that happened.
That's why it happens on Sunday.
Excuse me. Pardon me. One of the things that happened this weekend that I took note of, and it was funny because Marianne DM'd me on the weekend. She goes, "You see this?" And I'm like, "Nope." And I watched it once. Watched it again, and I watched it 40 more times.
With this.
Me too.
I couldn't get over it. Tucker Carlson is doing Tucker Carlson originals now. Yes, that Tucker Carlson, the theocratic fascist asshole that sits and lies his dick off about Canada and supports Putin and the war against Ukraine on Fox News on a daily basis.
A bad yoke.
He's a great yoke in the Christian community, bad yoke for normal people. He's just a confused, I think, jizz-filled yoke.
He's an extra large slime.
Yeah, let me play this video for you, and then you can decide. So this is this weekend. He puts this out, and it's a teaser for his new special that talks about how white men have been victimized.
Is that?
I hate this so much.
You gotta watch
this. This is
Roll
another.
Roll the tape.
Roll the tape. This is a special called "The End of Men."
This is another thing I was told to stay away from.
What's that?
In broadcasting.
Victimizing white men. Yeah.
Or the word penis.
Playing the victim.
Playing the victim. Yes, it's a very good idea.
This is something I agree with. Do not do that.
So here's the special. I want you to watch it with an open mind. I want you to watch it with an open mind. Don't look at the fact that says Tucker Carlson Originals on the actual thing. I just want you to look for all the naked dudes.
There's a lot.
It's like an Easter hunt.
Wrestling and stuff. Watch this.
What the hell is that?
We're gonna get into it.
Quarters into it to make it work.
Once a society collapses, then you're in hard times. Well, hard iron sharpens iron, as they say, and those hard times inevitably produce
the guy from
men
Facebook?
who are tough, men who are resourceful, men who are strong enough to
Oh,
survive.
there's the yolks.
Oh yeah.
And then they go on to re-establish order, and so the cycle begins again.
Who's the voice guy?
Probably one of Tucker's closeted friends. Thoughts? Let's start with Lachlan. Thoughts on that special? What do you think that special is? What do you make of it?
I'm going to give up my time to Marianne.
Marianne, over to you. Marianne.
You guys are just going right. Okay, so as a straight female, there was a lot of way too many attractive men shirtless in this. So I thought I would send the video to a gay friend of mine and asked, is this homoerotic? Because this is what I'm feeling from this. And he said, I would say so. I said, thank you for the confirmation. And I told him the series is about men getting their testosterone back. And he said, yeah, they're getting it back because they're taking it from other guys.
Can you get more testosterone if you ingest it?
By hump.
I
or
didn't
by
know that
pump?
was a thing.
I will get it back. I feel bad for poor Tucker. You know what? Like this is just like he's got the ability and he's got the access to the world via Fox News, and this is the way that he pretends to not be gay.
Did you see Did you see the rest of the versions of them? The people that remixed them?
Yeah.
You killed me this weekend with those.
Yeah, I just
Marianne
bombed
sent me
Winley with them.
every single It's
Okay,
Raining
what's on
Men
his nuts?
YMCA
What's that
version
with the
of
nut
this.
thing?
Okay,
We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
let's break this down. So for those of you who are listening on the audio versions of this podcast,
That's
Apple,
fucking
Google,
what's his nut
Spotify,
from Facebook.
This is
That's
Mark
the owner of
Zuckerberg.
Facebook.
It's not.
It looks like
It's
It does
not.
look like him.
No, it's not. It's not. But let me just kind of quickly and if you're watching this on YouTube and Twitch TV, you can see what we're doing. Please follow us on YouTube. It's easier for us to do this, and you can see what's happening. But Tucker Carlson original. This is a special called "The End of Men." This is a trailer, 49 seconds long, and all it is guys in no shirts, shirtless, wrestling, shooting things. And standing there with their nuts. So, like, here we've got these guys now. He's shooting a gun. That one killed me, too. I don't know if you saw this one. This is the dude
He's milking a cow. That one, grabbing a teat.
reaching
Grabbing a
for
teat.
what appears to be a teat. Probably doesn't want it to be a teat. And then you've got, two guys wrestling shirtless.
It's really weird.
And then you've got a couple of guys. This guy here, this is interesting. Sunning his nutsack. Now,
Yeah, what's that?
I did a little work into this, and I know Marianne has done as well, where she kind of understands this because when we're sending this back and forth, I'm like, what the fuck is this? She's like, well, I'm going to look into it. But Marianne, this is like a legitimate thing that some people do, correct? Like I've never seen this before until I had to look this up. But this is called UVB light Genesis, and it apparently makes you more romantic if you shine an UV light on your balls.
Do you have to do it outside by the pool?
Don't know.
on a pedestal.
garden?
On a pedestal. Supposedly it boosts your testosterone levels by 200%. That's what they're going for. So I guess this was made popular. I saw there was a Men's Health article of a guy trying this. This thing was like back in 2014 or 2017. But that's what it's for, is to boost your testosterone, is by doing this.
Like Lachlan.
So is there any religious sort of imagery here like that? Because I'm sort
That
of
looks like
picking
it,
up
yes.
on it.
Yeah. That looks like he's got his arms outstretched like the Christ, and he's standing there sunning his balls. Yeah, that would be a little religious imagery, I would say.
On top
Like
of the
Like a homoerotic
the rocks.
Titanic, maybe.
Yeah, he's on a rock. Good one, Lynch. But this
So,
is
hold
interesting
on.
because I did a little research into it.
I have a
and
dumb question.
Well, hang
I have
on
dumb
just a second.
question.
The
Okay.
UVB solar rays, I read a couple of studies, and this study was done by a whole bunch of people that were not doctors. Let me just show you. All these people, not doctors, they're all like weird kabuki healers. and they're like, yeah, this stuff works. So not only does it not
Kama
work,
Sutra people.
yeah, not only does it not work, it's all bullshit. Like from what I understand, the apparently uptick in your sperm count is non-existent, and this is just like that perineal sunning thing that people do, which you're probably familiar with, Marianne, too, right? Not that you do it, but
super familiar with it. Yeah.
You must be tripping over those people when you're outside.
Yeah.
No, but I'm saying like you we talked about forest bathing on the show once, right? And how weird I found that. But like then there's those people that like will get on their backs and spread their legs and get a little sun on their sphincter, and they call that perineal sunning. This is supposed to be the same thing. Yeah.
No, this is different. Right. So I read this in tantricacademy.com, by the way, just to give you context of what this is.
The Kama Sutra people.
And Sting has a course on Sundays.
Yeah, Pepsi and milk makes it bigger.
But they did admit, after they said that boost testosterone by 200%, they admitted that it's an 80-year-old observation study and that not a lot of modern studies have been done. So I was reading some other articles from PubMed.gov. It says male rats exposed to continuous light for 70 days showed increased weights of testes, accessory sex organs. I don't know what that means. Testosterone. So I think that's what some of the science is behind it. However, there's not like a lot of real studies on this. There's not a lot like this urologist on Twitter. Her name's Ashley Winters. She wrote, "There's not so much data on testicle tanning. There's absolutely no data on testicle tanning. Your friendly local board certified urologist." So there's these people saying there's all of this data on it, and
I have a new hobby. Thank you.
But tantricacademy.com is one of the first websites that appears.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Here's my question, and this
Thank
is
you for that. By the way, a real urologist is like, not only is there no data, there's like zero data, and this is all bullshit. That's awesome. Go ahead, Locke. Sorry, I didn't mean.
Okay. No, it's fine. And I don't want you guys to laugh at me when I ask this question, because I'm legitimately asking this. I'm not trying to be funny. Are there rumors that Tucker is gay?
Yes.
Okay.
Kind of leads me into the whole idea here. Like
that would suggest that he, at least if he was a part of that, he was, maybe.
This is the whole trailer. It's a cry for it's a cry for man sex. Yeah. It's a cry for,
and you know what it is? Nothing wrong with that, Tucker.
No,
come out.
Not at all. Fucking do it. Like, listen, can I take you through how fucked this whole thing is to me? Like, this is what we've seen in these pictures. We've seen and this is the whole thing. It's a huge Freudian slip. Everyone in this is shirtless. Everyone is wrestling. Everyone is chopping wood, shirtless, doing push-ups, shirtless, sinking into an ice bath, slowly and romantically, shirtless, flipping tires, shirtless, drinking a creamy egg-filled smoothing, shirtless. I mean, all
the
this
kid in the gemstones.
Oh yeah.
The righteous gemstones.
Yeah, it's like his. It's like
that's
his
who
ranch.
it is. Yeah. He's like. I mean, there's got to be something there. And I don't want to go after someone's sexuality when they're not out of the closet. And it's, you know me. I think it's tremendous when people can live an authentic lifestyle. It's got to be fucking killing him. Like, this was the first time he got a chance to tell his family he's super gay, was with this special.
He showed him at Easter.
Yeah. Hey, Mom, Dad, by the way.
That came out at Easter.
I love watching guys shoot things shirtless, wrestle shirtless, sun their nuts shirtless, drink smoothies shirtless. I just love shirtless guys flipping tires. It's the best.
To defend Tucker for a second, men who are gay and like other men can still have a lot of testosterone.
Yes,
right? Of course they can. It doesn't change anything.
They're called bottoms.
Like, I always knew he had some weird hard-on for Anderson Cooper, but I didn't know he was going this far.
Did I get that wrong? I think it's a bear.
This one.
Anderson Cooper probably has so much testosterone. Probably.
Guaranteed.
This picture was like, they lingered on this shot for a long time, too.
They did.
Yeah.
Look at that wedgie.
Yeah. They lingered on the guy's ass shot. It was incredible. It's got to be killing him, eh? Like, and yeah, I love that it came out. I love that this is how it's coming out too. That he's like, you know, God, I'm, and that's why they protest as much as they do, right? Taking us back to those DMs we sent that we can't actually put on Twitter because we'll get in trouble.
By the way, I got a text from Indian Al.
Oh, did you? What did he say?
Yeah, he said, "Thanks for outing me," and then sent me. I haven't got
really horrible one.
Yeah. No, he sent me one that I'm like that you send all the time. I'm like, so I'll respond to him later. He's watching.
All right. But it brought someone, because when I posted that video and then we did a story about Tucker this weekend, someone sent me this and I laughed. Take it for what you will, but this is what it reminded me of. The anti-gay politicians when no one's watching.
This was so bad.
I loved Arthur growing up, so I love the Arthur memes. I love.
What's holding his fucking glasses on, Marianne? You see where his ears are? Arthur makes no sense.
You're ruining my childhood with this photo.
I couldn't stop laughing at that.
You ruined my manhood with that microphone.
Yeah.
So tit for tat.
So here's the thing.
Large over here and goes smaller.
Here's the thing that I have
been
saying for years, and this I think this is just very valuable information. And Tucker clearly doesn't have anybody in his life that's you, and you see this all the time. You see rich people, you see famous people, and they lose the people that. They lose the good counsel over the years, and then they end up with just a whole bunch of yes men. You have to maintain relationships with people that are honest with you, that have the courage, no matter what station in life you reach, to sit you down and go, all right, Tucker, if you're gay, that's fine, but you shouldn't release this video if you're trying to maintain that veneer. Because this is going to be perceived as something that you were fantasizing about.
There's no way.
That person's not in his life. And that's a mistake. Again,
there's no way he surrounds himself with anything but yes people.
Absolutely. And that's a mistake. And obviously the Facebook guy, Zuckerberg.
That actually does look like
that's like a great value version of him.
Like this is you have lost touch with those friends and family members that were honest with you. That's what this is. Because
like the one person that would be able to come. Yeah, you like that, don't you, Marianne? That's a pretty good looking dude. He's chopping wood there. Mm-hmm. But the incredible part was that like he's stumping for this special now too. Have you guys seen him talk to Kid Rock about this? Fuck, was it so funny? Good. Dude, even Kid Rock, who is like, I can't stand the guy. Even Kid Rock is like fucking super grossed out. Yeah, I do too. Which sucks, but he was super grossed out by the whole thing. Like, watch this. This is Kid Rock talking to fucking Tucker Carlson about the testicle tanning.
Ladies and gentlemen. So our cameraman, I think Tom Fox is in your house right now.
He is. Dude, stop. Testicle tanning. Come on. I mean,
yeah.
I haven't heard anything that good in a long time.
Open your mind, Bobby.
I'm starting a punk rock band, and it's called Testicle Tanning. That's the end of it.
I think you'll be.
Did you see how Tucker laughed there, like a little
He's
schoolgirl?
So creepy.
Look at how he laughed like a little schoolgirl. Watch this. He's so taken by Kid Rock.
And it's called Testicle Tanning. That's the end of it.
Listen to it.
Is Kid Rock trying to send him a little message there with the jacket?
Massively successful, but I mean, don't you think at this point, when so many of the therapies,
That's a good point.
As they've told us.
Well, this is the excuse. This is the excuse that he uses for bringing testicle tanning up and the whole fucking special. By the way, the special is called The End of Man or something like that. It's like a whole victim piece.
Successful, but I mean, don't you think at this point, when so many of the therapies, the paths they've told us to take have turned out to be dead ends that have really hurt people, why wouldn't open-minded people seek new solutions?
I don't know what the hell's going on in this world.
Why wouldn't you tan your nuts?
He's like, I don't have an answer for you, dude. Can we just talk about other shit? Because you are disturbing me. Like there's this inner thing inside you that needs to come out. Just let it out, bro.
Look, and then Tucker goes right back to that constipated owl resting face that he's got.
I had no idea
like
he was
constipated bird.
Oh yeah, dude, it's incredible. And then he had the testicle guy on because he was actually talking about it. So the guy that was sunning his testicles, he speaks. This is like a personal trainer. He was the guy, the lumberjack too. So I think he and Tucker are pretty tight.
Well, he got 2 spots in the video.
Yo, he did preferential treatment for some reason.
You saw in the clip there. If you want to
just listen to this fucking idiot.
Optimize and take it to another level, expose yourself to red light therapy.
Yes.
And the Juve that we were using in the documentary. There's a massive amount
Which is testicle tanning.
It's testicle tanning, but it's also full body red light therapy, which has massive amount of benefits. And there's so much data out there that isn't being picked up on or covered.
So obviously half the viewers right now are like, what? That's testicle tanning? That's crazy.
What?
But my view is, okay, testosterone levels crash and nobody says anything about it. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's not crazy. That's just getting older, you stupid fuck. I love how he like questions it. I'm like, what? And he's like, what? I'm like, it's coming out.
On or covered.
Listen to it. Obviously half the viewers right now are like, what? That's testicle tanning? That's crazy. But my view is, okay, testosterone levels crash and nobody says anything about it. That's crazy. So why is it crazy to seek solutions?
It's not crazy to seek solutions. And I think I was recently exposed to a term called bromeopathy. And I think there's a lot of people out there right now that
I can't do this.
Don't trust the mainstream information. And
bromeopathy?
So, ladies and gentlemen, there's a new word, right?
Bromeopathy.
Is it like bro?
Joe Brogan.
I'm Googling.
Yeah. Bromeopathy. That's what they call it. This shit that all these guys are doing. And you know who they rally around? Joe Rogan for their bromeopathy methods. Therapy. Joe Rogan, Dr. Malone, that guy. Like that, you know how many millions of men will watch that? All Jordan Peterson guys do. They'll all watch that and go, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a bunch of UV rays on my nuts and it's going to fix my whole life. That's
my
what
ex
it
is doing it right now.
He's on the 11th step.
Bromeopathy.
Oh my God.
I thought the 11th step was not bring a shrimp ring to the supper.
No, that's if you want to be an asshole.
Yeah.
Always bring the shrimp ring.
Always.
And the cocktail sauce.
Yeah. Listen, if somebody comes to my house with a shrimp ring, I'm gonna welcome them in with open arms.
Yeah,
I don't
even
care
get a
what
hug
God
from
you.
me.
What happens if they show up with the shrimp ring minus the shrimp sauce?
We'll send them back to the store to
get
the shrimp sauce.
You can't eat the shrimp without the sauce.
I almost bought a whole shrimp ring for myself. They're so easy to eat them.
I could
right?
kill
It's so easy to eat an entire shrimp ring.
An entire shrimp ring, no problem.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna talk about the next day, but I mean it's gonna go down no problem.
Does it upset your tummy?
No,
Mary.
How did we pivot from of this victim thing to a shrimp ring so fast? It was Marianne and Locke. That's who did it.
It was fucking. It was the rabbit's fault. Old spring collection, Marianne.
I was going to say it goes well with something that I came across today when I was doing the Alex Jones piece on DeanBlundell.com.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at his supplements, they're all about male virility. And everybody on the alt-right is fucking obsessed with penis. Every one of them. Penis and balls. That's all they want. They just want to know about penis and balls.
I've noticed that. I noticed that because your Alex Jones thing, you did a great thing because InfoWars went bankrupt because the Sandy Hook people want him. They're going to fucking clean him out. And he sells InfoWars super male vitality. And then he also sells a whole bunch of food that apparently is good for your testosterone. What is it? What's the fucking whole deal?
2 of them actually are under investigation through the FTC and through, I think, whatever the American version of the Health Canada is. 2 of them are under independent, separate studies for containing lead. And the lead that's in them actually kills sperm. It actually makes men
infertile.
Yeah. So it's just funny how it goes from one extreme to the
it's like
other.
multi-level marketing for men.
You know what it is? I what I think is happening is there's so much searching out there now, right? And we've dismantled so much of that structure, that belief structure in our lives, that you get people that are looking for things, right? And I think and again, this isn't me throwing the victim card out there, Marianne. I legitimately believe this. I think men are on a bit of an island, right? And we don't have the goops, and we don't have a lot of, like, there isn't support groups and things. There is, but there isn't, right? And I think there's a lot of men out there that feel a little, left out, and they're the guys that listen to Joe Rogan and think that Jordan Peterson is a god, right?
Yeah. Can I ask men, because you guys are what, in your 40s-ish, 40s?
Yeah.
40s.
Well, Lachlan's just over 60, but go ahead.
Yeah.
Is that because women, we deal with hormonal issues forever, right? But is that
I got some
not the
hormonal issue
music
music
for this at all.
Go ahead. I'm ready.
This is not
very
hit it,
appropriate at all.
He talks
Marianne Iveson, ladies and gentlemen. Marianne Iveson.
Thank you. I just wanted to know is this like a genuine concern for men? Is this a genuine concern to lose testosterone? Like, is this something that you guys fear and worry about? Again, women, we deal with this.
I just
forever,
think, Marianne,
right?
I just think that there's a segment of the population that
pussies,
men that don't have anything. They don't feel part of anything, right? And they're searching for it. So they gravitate to stuff like this. And again, Leanne, she's commenting in the comment section. Men, I think generally men are doing okay. I'm not waving the victim card here, but I think there is a group out there that are very attracted to this type of
tire flinging men
thinking, right? And it's a sign of the times that we live in, right? And I think it's the dismantling of a lot of sort of like religious structures and things like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we don't have these places to go, and we're all dealing with it, I think, on a certain level.
Is it wanting to stay youthful and wanting to like be sexual and wanting to keep?
I think it's
keep
wanting
that all
just to
up?
be part of a group.
Keep it up, yeah.
I think you're onto something, Lachlan. And when it comes to like that sort of a grift, so to speak, men are actually worse than women when it comes. Like, women will get involved in the multi-level marketing stuff and like the Mary Kays, the Avons, whatever the fuck is around now, Sensi, all that bullshit. Men will they don't even care. They'll just give all the money to Alex Jones and all the money to Joe Rogan and all the money to like one person, because they don't need to be tricked into these elaborate fucking pyramid scams. I'm a Rogan.
We're idiots.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right. I think men are way more susceptible to this type of stuff.
Fucking right, we are.
Way more susceptible to the marketing of it. Way more susceptible.
Jimmy's on like 40 different monthly mailing lists to get better at something. I mean,
I feel like.
Go ahead.
I feel like we have, as women, we are bombarded by it since we were, since we're just hitting puberty, right? So I think that there's so many options and there's so many different avenues that we can go down, whether it's like it's hot to be this and it's hot to be that, and you must be attractive to men and you must do that, right? There's so many things bombarding us constantly, and that this is attractive and this is attractive and this isn't, blah, blah, blah. So I think that there's so much information for women, but what you're saying is that there's more there's only a couple options for men. There's only a couple options for men.
They tried a few years back, and it was like I can't remember what it was, something called, very stupid. It was barbecue meat, hot sauce related, kind of like one of those carnivore club deals, but it was a multi-level based thing where guys would host like barbecues at their house and sell their buddies on like the whole thing, like it was a Sensi candle. It was too difficult for men to figure out and like to deal with it, so it went bust. So they realized, okay,
aren't you terrible at organizing things too?
That's exactly it. We are. We're fucking horrible at it.
Terrible.
So I don't know. It's funny. We say that, oh yeah, we're the dominant species, but you know what? We're really not. Sorry,
you know what? I also think that women are a little bit more practical, right?
Yeah.
I think they're a little bit more level-headed in how they make decisions in this arena, right?
What, in the self-help arena, or
yes.
in the medical arena, or in the motivation arena, that kind of stuff?
And I think you're right, Marianne. You guys women have always sought things out. Like I want to feel better. I want to look better. And they will spend money on their nails, their hair, right? Whereas all that's relatively new to men, right? And so you might get walked into some pill that's going to, increase your testosterone. And I think Lindley, you're onto something in that we're a little bit more susceptible to the grift, the scams, right?
Yeah.
But
Guaranteed.
there's something to the searching. Men are searching for something now. They're reaching for shit.
Do you think that's what Tucker Carlson's special's about? The end of men is what it's called. You think you think it's a rallying cry? Because can I tell you what I saw in that special? I'll tell you what I saw in that special. I saw a man and a whole bunch of other men, shirtless, sweaty, looking for fun. Number one. Number two, here's the other thing I derived from that. I derived an entire white men are the new Me Too. White men are victims. And only the strongest victims will become really important in the new world. That's what it said at the end of it. I'll play it again for you in its entirety. Try to not laugh at all the homoerotic imagery, because this is like, I want you to listen to the end of it, and then I want to talk about how much I barfed in my mouth when I watched it and really took it in, because this is the dumbest. Like, watch it. We'll talk about it.
Okay.
Nope, that's not it. Never mind. Watch it. We'll talk about it. Here we go. It's the Raining Men version. Here.
It's raining men. Hallelujah, it's raining men. Amen. I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna let myself get absolutely soaking wet. It's raining men.
My apostate enlarged.
Is that the version you meant?
Okay,
No, it just worked out, and for humor's sake, I pressed the wrong button twice. But still.
Okay, does he think that men are like losing testosterone, or that they're
He thinks we're victims. He thinks we're societal victims. He thinks white men are societal. White, buff, shirtless men are societal victims. And that isn't all right.
Because people and men are shifting more towards being more empathetic and kind and talking about their emotions? Like, is it because of those things because I guess men...
None of that's happening, Marianne.
I'm guessing he's going to try and tie it into like, oh, wow, well, is there an explosion of transgender people? And,
right, that's what I'm asking.
I think you're right.
That's the other thing. The religious right, the alt-right sort of, it's a talking point for them, right? Men aren't men anymore, and we're losing. And so he's just playing into that conversation. Mind you, if we go back and take a look at that interview with the guy with the axe and the bro therapy or whatever the hell it's called.
Therapy.
Just take a look at Tucker Carlson's shoe choice for that interview.
And his
he's clearly part of the problem.
So what does a real man even look like?
A real man doesn't. I'll tell you what. A real man does not sit there and tell you that he's here to fight for other real men. A real man just fucking cracks on with life. A real man just goes, "Oh, that happened? Fuck, nothing to do with me. Let's keep going." A real man
drinks 6 beer in his basement every night.
A real man drinks 6 beer in his basement while guys are going, "We're victims. Let's fucking rally around the victim tree." A real man goes, "I'm no victim. I'm a white dude. I've had it pretty fucking good for a long period of time." Here's the original. Listen to the messaging. It's good. Again, try not to laugh.
I like the Raining Men version better.
I do too.
In the current year, the cycle continues.
Once a society collapses, then you're in hard times. Well, hard iron sharpens iron, as they say, and those hard times inevitably produce men who are tough, men who are resourceful, men who are strong enough to survive. And then they go on to re-establish order, and so the cycle begins again.
Right? That's just a victim piece. That's Tucker Carlson and the alt-right's MO, which is Jordan Peterson fucking loved it. He tweeted today, he's like, men have died to build this country. How dare you take things away from them? Like, shut the fuck up, dude. If you have to fucking get together with a bunch of other guys to feel power because you feel like a victim and you're a white male, you're a fucking loser. You're like one of the biggest losers on the planet and one of the biggest cowards, and your whole group is full of fucking cowards. And that entire group is based in evangelical Christianity because they think that's being taken away from them. That's all this is. Yeah. Just more toxic male theocratic bullshit. That's all. But the good news is we got a glimpse into Tucker's incredibly gay nightmare too. So that was cool.
Nightmare. It's a dream. It's a dream. What?
Something's haunting that guy. I don't know what it is, but something is haunting him. Big time.
I will say this. I think I used to think that we were becoming, for lack of a better word, pussies, and I have made comments to that regard numerous times on my radio shows over the years that men are not, and I think it's my own insecurities, right? And my lack of ability to fix my car if it breaks down, or fix anything around the house, or run a mile. But I think the one thing that I will say out loud that I've sort of shifted, I think the bigger issue isn't that men are becoming pussies. I think that men continue to have this inability to say out loud when they're in trouble, and I think that needs to be more of a focus than we're losing testosterone or we're becoming a bunch of wimps. I think we need to dig into why men just ignore shit, push it down, and they don't fucking deal with their issues.
That's not what this is.
You just said. You just said
that's not what this is, dude. Like that's not what this is. You're taking it that way. This is a propaganda piece for white Christian men. I know that. Fucking nuts.
I used to agree with that. We're all becoming pussies.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
Lachlan's speaking to the
real inspiration.
The inspiration for this grift came from. Can I ask you a question, Locke? Just based on what you just said, if you brought your car to a mechanic and it was a female, would you feel emasculated by that?
No, and I've never felt emasculated by like my wife will do a home repair project, and I'll sit there and run to the garage and get tools for her. Right? Like I'm not that guy. I've never been that guy. No, I haven't.
Okay. Oh no, you just said that you said it like you used to say it a lot on your radio show. I just thought like were you
I've been mad at my upbringing for a lot of years because I didn't have anybody around. I didn't have any male role models, so I didn't get into cars and fixing shit and all that crap, right? So now I feel I'm embarrassed by it, to be honest with you. It's not an emasculation thing. It's I will sit there and watch guys riff about cars, and I'm just like, what? Like, one, I could care less, and two, if my fucking car starts breaking down, I take it to the dealership, I sell it, and I get a new one.
Yeah.
Right? That's my strategy around getting fucking car with
you know
car
what?
problems.
We're
hyper focused on something, right? And I have, over the years, because of my own insecurities revolving around my lack of the ability to do the blue jobs, again, for a lack of a better term, I commented, I'm the poster boy for the world becoming a bigger, like more pussies. But I've readjusted that thought process over the last 4 or 5 years, and I've sort of gone into this, dudes don't deal with their shit. And that's a bigger fucking issue than a fucking show about not having enough testosterone in your nuts, Tucker. That's the bigger issue. And that's the unfortunate part of this campaign and this movement, is that men are seeking out something that they think is a fix, and it's not the fix. The fix isn't you don't need more jizz in your fucking balls, you idiot. You just need to have the courage to fucking ask for help when you need it. And that's the problem in the world that we live in.
Yeah,
Preach.
absolutely.
Thanks, Lachlan.
Very well said. And you watch in the next three months. I give it 60 to 90 days. There will be a product tied to this that he's hawking on Fox News. That you stand like a little portable box to put around your nuts.
Lachlan,
I got to tell you, I might try it just to see how it feels. Go ahead,
Lachlan. That's what I was talking about when I was mentioning the empathy and compassion and being able to talk about your emotions and actually dealing with your shit. Right? That's what.
Sorry.
Way to shit all over her compliment. Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
No, that's it. But can I also ask? Maybe it's your generation, not to age you guys or anything. But when you say pussy, is that when you call guys pussies? Is that like where's the root in that? Where is the?
Well, I'll tell you, because that's a great question, because you're a millennial. Is that what I understand?
I'm a millennial.
You're
That's
30s?
correct.
Yeah, millennial.
Because I assume, I'll tell you
Gen
what I
X.
assume. I
Yeah.
assume it's like the female body part. That's
Wrong.
but I heard it's something else.
Correct. You know how you used to call people like, this is how I grew up thinking, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, which is why I use it liberally, right? Same reason why my parents use the C word, because they're from England. They get it. But my point is this, is that I have no problem with that entire discussion. I've got no problem talking about that because it refers to a cat to me, like a pussy cat, someone who's timid, someone who's shy, someone who's like afraid. Has nothing to do with the female sex organ.
The strongest thing of any kind of human. Yes. Okay.
Right.
So we're on the same page. It's not.
Totally. Yeah. Totally.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
want to make sure that. Okay.
Yeah, I would never objectify that part.
2 out of 3 of you
female
have
anatomy.
used the word, so I just want to clarify.
Well, I think that's where we come from,
grew
right,
up.
Locke? Same
Yeah, I
thing with
grew
the word
up hearing
jizz.
that.
I'm out for coffee the other day at Starbucks.
What?
I don't know if you guys know. So I'm out for coffee with Starbucks, and I'm like, they took all the cream and the sugar away, and I said to the barista, "Where's all the jizz for the coffee?" He's like, "Excuse me." And I'm like,
can't-
cream and stuff like that. So I mean nothing by it. It's
So you
just
said it.
how I chat.
Marianne,
Yeah.
Dean has literally ruined his father's golfing life with the word jizz.
That's right.
You've never heard that
So
story?
if I get this correct, you were in Starbucks and said, "Where's the jizz?"
That's correct.
Where's all the coffee
so
jizz?
I assume like when I hear that, if I was there,
international
I would
delight.
have been like super embarrassed because I thought you like because it's cream and milk and that like that's what I
Looks like jizz.
That's not what I said.
So that's what I thought that was because
Actually,
that's
skim milk looks more
disgusting.
like jizz than the cream.
That's disgusting. What do you?
You should
Okay,
go
so
to the doctor. There's something
what
wrong
do you
with
what do
your
you mean a
apostate
background of saying
if it's
jizz?
looking like skim milk.
What do you mean a
What do you mean the
background?
background? Ryan just mentioned some about ruining his father's golf career.
Oh, with the word jizz.
Wow, because
Yeah.
I told my dad, I was golfing once with my dad when I was like 17. He's like, "What are you going to do with this approach shot?" I go, "Slap a little jizz on the ball, stick it nice and close to the hole." And he's like, "What does jizz mean?" I go, just stick it nice and close. And he's like, interesting. So next hole, my dad's like, "I'm going to slap a little jizz on this." I start laughing.
You can't-
20 years go by. I get a phone call from my dad. He's like, "I just learned what jizz means on the golf course with my boss 20 years later. Thanks for nothing." And I went, best joke in the history of jokes, lasted 22 years. And he didn't talk to me for a year and a half. So
That's not.
we're good now.
That's not an appropriate term to
Put the
use in
jizz on the
public.
relationship and they're back together. Everything's good.
Dude, Tucker Carlson has a whole special on how to get more jizz.
But the barista guy.
Yeah.
You said it's a dude, right?
I am
Yeah.
literally
Okay.
going to get off this podcast, Marianne, and I'm going to go to the nearest
But he's
Starbucks,
probably
and I'm going to ask for jizz in my
the
coffee.
jizz? Coffee jizz?
okay. So he's probably he's probably younger than me. So he's probably 20 or a Gen Z or whatever.
Probably.
He is not. He is not thinking it's some inanimate object that you are thinking that's what jizz means.
All right, right.
He thinks jizz is what jizz is.
Right.
That is what he is thinking.
I know.
Sounds like a barista problem to me.
Yeah, listen, He got it and brought me the cream and sugar.
Everyone.
So everybody won.
Everyone except this man thinks, but that's what that means.
Yeah, but you're right. I should change how I refer to cream and sugar.
Ryan, what do you think?
It's
innocuous, right? No big deal.
It really is. It's a word.
There's a lot worse things happening in the world that we live in right now.
Yeah.
Totally.
You know what's interesting, Marianne?
Never mind.
This is what I'm picking a fight about.
I get it. I'm always shocked at people's concern for like grammar problems and spelling issues and things like that. Okay, and I see it all the time. I see it with this group, this podcast group, where if there's a article that goes on to the webpage that's got a grammar issue or something, everyone's all like, "Oh no, we gotta fix that." And I always have a bit of a chuckle because I could give two flying fucks if I misspell something or use a word inappropriately, or I say the word. It just doesn't bother me. And it's funny how we are wired. We live in a world where there is so much criticism for how it looks on paper, right? Like this conversation about the edit button on Twitter. It's like, what the fuck? Fuck off. Who cares? We let Jimmy, who's dyslexic and has maybe a grade 7 command of the English language.
Yeah.
We make him write all our posts for the locker room because it drives the girls in the promotions department insane.
Yeah.
And there's constant mistakes on social media and on our text line. And I think it's funny. But why? See, I want to know why the use of the word jizz in Starbucks bothers you so much. Like, where does that come from, Marion?
Great question.
Yeah.
Honestly, I understand that it's an offensive word, but it does bother you. It does bother you.
Yeah. That's a great question. What about me asking a barista where the jizz would be for my coffee bothers you so much? That's a great question. Thank you, Lachlan. Marianne, over to you.
I'm curious because
ISO shot.
You're just going to ISO me for that.
I really want to go down to a Starbucks right now. I may never use another word for cream for my coffee other than jizz till the day I die now.
Go ahead, Marianne.
What does it bother me? I just don't know if it's like a proper word to use in public. It's just it's
okay.
Gross.
Let me ask you a question.
I think it's gross. It's gross.
Okay.
It's gross.
It is gross. Okay, I'll give you that, Marianne. Now let me ask you a question. If you made a mistake, if you wrote a tweet right now,
I would delete
it. And there was a spelling error in it. How would you feel?
I spelled jizz wrong?
Yeah, I think it's with a Z, by the way.
It is.
Would that bother
Lynch
you? Would
know.
you be able to sleep tonight with releasing a tweet with a spelling mistake in it?
No, if I discover it the next day and there's like one letter off, but if I know it right away and it like makes all 100%, it bothers me way too much. My mom was a teacher, so it was kind of drilled into me for grammar. But I also think that back to your comment about like you don't care what you post on social media and the website, but I think that like proper grammar and proper spelling like gives you more legitimacy. I can't even say the word legitimacy. Thank you. Yep, it's ironic. That's peak irony. But I think that it takes away. I think it takes away from like the legitimacy. I can't even.
You're wearing bunny ears too. I'd like to point out.
It takes away from the legitimacy of the post or the social. Why am I still on?
Way to go. You nailed it. I completely agree with you. I don't think I should be walking around in a store like void of creamer and sugar going, where's the jizz for the coffee?
But you have a very loud voice, so there's
He's
no
leaving
chance.
a very important part out about this story too.
You're not.
What's that?
There's no chance. There's no chance that not everyone in that Starbucks heard that.
Probably
not. Absolutely not. We all know that. That's why we find it so funny.
Yeah. And listen,
nothing
entertains me. Nothing entertains me.
Jizz?
Pretty much. nothing entertains me anymore. So part of that was entertaining as well. Like I think, and Locke's like that. You know that. So do you, Lindley. You guys all understand the entertaining part of life where you're in a store and you're like, "Where's the jizz for the coffee?" And then everybody goes, "What the fuck was that?" And you're like, "I did that to everybody in this room." I guess there's a little bit of that in there too.
Get a weird stare at the
just a smidge.
Get a weird stare.
Lindley would not be able to release a tweet with a spelling mistake.
No, I don't. I can't.
Yeah. Ryan, what do you think of spelling and grammar? And I think it adds to. I think it just. Okay, so when I see a post or when I see a blog post and spelling is wrong, I immediately think that person's maybe not smart.
Thank you. That's exactly it. You take
Thanks,
all
Ryan.
the air out of a or the superiority of a point that you've made about trying to have some sort of position over top of somebody, especially when you're like trashing somebody on Twitter and you can't figure out the difference between how to spell there. You've literally taken the argument and you've now placed it on your intelligence rather than the point. And I've always been a firm believer of if you're going to actually alliterate something, make it right or don't make it, especially in some sort of a confrontational realm. If I was trying to buy, like if I was looking to buy ad space on a website and it was riddled with fucking spelling errors, I don't care if they use the word jizz, cock, cunt, motherfucker, cocksucker, or tits on their post, but if they're spelled right, sorry, it was the Carlin effect.
Yeah.
If it was spelled right, cool, that's fine. I don't get offended by the words. I get offended by incompetence. I get offended by
I love it.
Yeah, I fucking hate it. It just drives me. It's a pet peeve. It drives me fucking batty.
To the point where, like, we'll misspell something and we'll get a note from Ryan, and Ryan's not great. At, like, hey man, I just fixed something for you. He would rather fucking use it to make you feel like a fucking lesser individual, which I appreciate because I'm the same way. I'm like, yeah, totally. You're not supposed to.
Don't you
spell
want
the
your
word
product
cock
to
with
be
a 9.
good?
I do.
Of course you do.
I do it in a funny way, and I do it in a ball busting way because that's all we do in that DM group of ours.
Because we're real men.
Good, Ryan. I'm glad that you
Real
edit
men
them.
that don't need to sun our balls, and we don't need to tell each other we're victims. We can tell each other, you fucked up. Here's the solution. Here's the fix, and you can do it. We don't take any of that shit personally.
I was going to say, and to a perfect point of what you just said, would real men, hey, can you overlook? Can you read this over? Make sure it sounds right. We do that with everybody in that group. So we're all looking out for each other to make sure that
Lindley
we don't look like fucking assholes.
all my shit.
Yeah, so we don't look like idiots. You know what I mean? Like you, and you might. It could have just been like a misstroke of a key, and there's jizz. Sorry, it says stroke and jizz. And
I don't approve
all of a sudden, our comments are filled with, "You're a fucking idiot. You can't even fucking spell." Yeah. You could have just like rambled off like an incredible soliloquy of absolute fucking vitriol against somebody that was an idiot. One spelling mistake has deflated that balloon for you.
The worst is when you have a fucking killer. I don't see it that way. I love you, man. I love you. I love how none of the rules of grammar apply to you ever, anywhere, and the rest of the world can fuck off. And the entire history of the world can fuck off.
I gave you guys my grammar advice yesterday. If you don't know if something should be spelt or if you're having an issue, just use the 3 dots. ...
Do you know what the 3 dots are called?
No.
Ellipses.
Little jizzes.
Little jizzes. Bunch of little jizz.
I learned today not to go into the Dunkin' Donuts and ask for a schmear or schmagma on my bagel anymore.
Yeah, that's right.
We can't say things like that. But I will be using jizz for coffee contests.
No, I hate
That's
this
right.
so
You're
much.
welcome, Marianne. You are
That's called
welcome.
evolution.
Can I just play a couple of things on the way out? Because it was Easter. We haven't gotten all the great Easter stuff that happened this weekend. We've taken a strip off Tucker Carlson, religion in general. We've pointed to why I hate it.
Plain people.
But we had a couple of Easter celebrations this weekend. One was in Nebraska, and they have this Easter hoedown. I want you to pay special attention.
Okay.
I want you to pay very, very special attention to the gentleman who is having the fucking time of his life at an Easter hoedown. And thank God they just centered the camera on him because this is fucking magic. Look at this guy. Look at him. He's just moving his feet. Look at his face.
His head's not moving.
I can't stop watching.
It's like he's in the pool.
What is that?
I don't know.
Somebody's even made a Twitter account with this guy now. Following the dance guy.
Look at his face.
Like, look at him. Look at him. His head doesn't move. Like he could like hold a water glass up there.
I couldn't stop. I watched this probably 400 times this weekend. I'm like, what kind of dancing is this? I don't even know what that is. But it was the smile on his feet. Like his smile is fucking beaming, and he's like, I'm finally with a woman.
Tucker Carlson presents River Dance.
That's the most bizarre thing I think I've ever seen.
It's not even the original music, but it makes it so much better, whatever it is.
Well, I'm still trying to figure out what kind of dancing this is. I have never seen this before, but he looks like a pure idiot, which is incredible to me.
I love it.
That's the best thing I've ever seen.
Had a great Easter weekend. This person did not. This was a fight that happened. Gosh, someone sent this to me a couple days ago. This was a fight that happened in front of an apartment building on Easter Sunday. Very upset couple having a bit of a fight. These public fights. I don't miss this part at all. But watch this.
Hey. No, I'm not. He not giving me your baby?
No. And she's more attached to me than him. I'll tell you this. I have not once fucking cheated. I do not talk to the neighbors. I barely know you.
He's jealous. He's sprung on you. Is your pussy good?
No. I haven't fucked him in months. Because I'm tired of this shit saying I'm cheating.
Wait for it.
I'm gone for good. See you in court over Bella.
Well, that's how you always are. You don't give a fuck about your kid. You give a fuck about dick.
There's so much to unpack.
Tough Easter. That was a tough Easter for them. That was a tough Easter Sunday. They broke up on Easter Sunday. He had the kid. She only wants dick. Her pussy is not good, she said. Did you hear that?
No, it's not.
No, I'm not.
Look at
No. He not giving me your baby?
Listen.
No. And she's more attached to me than him. And I'll tell you this. I have not once fucking cheated. I do not talk to the neighbors. I barely know you.
He's jealous. He's sprung on you. Is your pussy good?
No. I haven't fucked him in months.
I have never
Is your pussy
asked
good?
that of anybody.
Did she say no?
She said no, it's not.
No.
Absolutely not.
Terrible.
It's not.
Yeah. Look at
No. I haven't fucked him in months. Because I'm tired of this.
This can't be real. This can't be
it's
real.
totally real.
No,
It's
this
totally
is
real.
beautiful. This is
It's
great.
you know, this
The
is
guy
when
at the
wanna
end.
know-
The end's the best.
this
Always
guy.
are. You don't give a fuck about your kid. You give a fuck about dick.
Look
Skid
at
Rock.
Look at this stud. Skid Rock.
That kid
Look
has
at the
got
baby.
A hope in hell.
Poor Bella. Poor Bella.
Oh, poor
Oh,
kid. Look at
Bella.
that. Look at what she
Look
has
at
to take
Bella.
in for the rest of her life. She's
Why is
she's
Mom
like,
yelling
these are my
again?"
fucking parents.
She needs so much therapy. She's
The
that
irony
poor-
of it is she'll probably be just fine.
Yeah. I doubt
They always
that.
come out okay, eh?
I don't think so.
Well, we're going to talk about that tonight.
I don't think so. And last but not least, listen, we all have kids here. Most of us have kids. When your child is born, it's this incredible experience. And like, I was fortunate because I never found out for any one of my kids what I was going to have. I didn't find out if it was a boy or girl ahead of time. So like, because I'm like, you get like one really great surprise in this life, right? Sometimes maybe two great surprises where you're like, this is incredible. I have no idea what's
I've
going to
had
happen,
more than
but
a
it's going to
couple.
change my fucking
Actually,
life.
not
I know
yet.
you have. Yeah. I want you to watch this gender reveal. This is
involve
my favorite
explosions?
video from the Easter weekend. This is a family gathered with other family doing a very, very cool gender reveal. Very nice. Like they didn't have to get into all the, weaponry and exploding shit and trying to kill each other over deciding to tell everybody what
those
kind of
people.
baby they were going to have. I
The
do too.
fireworks.
I want you to notice the gentleman's reaction, the dad's reaction when he finds out he's having another girl. This is beautiful.
What is it, Kaya? You having a baby brother or baby sister? Baby brother! A baby sister.
Someone didn't tan his nuts enough, apparently.
Listen to this. Fucking. He's there with this beautiful family, and they're like, "You're having another baby. You're having a girl. Watch this." Fuck it all already.
That makes me so sad.
What is
No
it, Kaya?
kidding.
That's really sad.
You having a baby brother or baby sister? No, a baby sister.
Love your daughters, right?
I'm not going to judge.
Locke did the same thing, didn't he?
No,
Locke, you have daughters,
I knew.
right?
I have 2 daughters. Here's
two daughters.
here's my quick
I don't
story
like
on
that. I
this.
hate this. I hate it.
My wife was dead set on having a boy. And literally we had a discussion about having kids, and she was like, "Do you want to have kids?" And I'm like, "Let's do it, honey." And I could have literally thrown a batch into the same room as her and knocked her up. We were very fertile. So we got pregnant right away.
Whoa.
And she was like, "We're having a boy." We had boys' names. We were going to start painting the nursery blue. And I'm like, "It's my destiny, honey, to be surrounded by women my whole life. I don't know what I did, but I know this to be true. So we're having a girl. You better have a girl's name." And she's like, "No, this is a boy. I'm telling you, this is a boy." Boom. Oh, pops bouncing baby Natasha. Then I knock her up again about a year later. And she's like...
And Lachlan's like,
"This one's a boy. I can tell." And I'm like, "You'd better make sure you have a girl's name. I know I'm going to be surrounded by women." And then, boom, we had Riley. And then we had the conversation about having a third. And I said, "If you want to have another girl, fine. We'll go do that again if you want. But I know that I am unable to give you a boy. So we can just stop at 2 if you're comfortable with that." And I love my daughters. I don't know what I would have done with a boy. He'd be a fucking mess. I would have destroyed a young man. I would have just fucking, it would have been awful.
I lucked out.
Ryan,
with a
what do you
daughter.
have?
I have a daughter, and she is currently sitting at like a 94 average in high school. Loves everything about education. Absolutely nothing to do with me. And I'm the same as Locke. If I would have had a boy, and I thought all the way up to it, I thought, what the fuck am I gonna do? Because we found out. I'm like, what are we gonna do? What am I gonna do with a girl? And I wouldn't have it any other way. And I loved
me too.
It's a really special.
I wish
it's
I
hard
had
to
girls.
explain.
I can only make boys.
Yeah, you
apparently.
got boys. You got a whole brood of boys.
It's
over
all
there.
about how much you masturbate.
Yeah, that's what I hear. I hear
If you
do it
clean the
standing
chamber
up.
a lot,
No,
you get
I
rid
heard
of the
that's
male
not true.
sperm.
I heard that's not true. I heard
No,
if
it's
you do
totally
it standing up,
Everybody I
you
know
get a
that
girl.
said all
If you do
girls.
it
None
laying
of
down,
this
you
is-
get a boy.
yeah.
That's
None
what I
of
heard.
this
Yeah, none of this is true.
That's what I heard.
None
It's
of
like
this
It's all
true.
about how much you whack off.
This is
I
all-
whack
that's
off
what I
a
heard
lot.
too.
Always
the
Yeah,
have.
same
too.
boat
Had
as
girls.
the fucking tanning your nuts shit. Stop it.
Yeah.
None of this is
Okay,
true.
I'm just saying that's what I've
Ask
heard.
anybody with a bunch of girls if they beat off a lot, and you're gonna get the answer. I already know. That guy whacks off a lot.
Look at him. Look at him. He doesn't want anything to do with this.
Brother or baby sister?
It's got to be a put on.
Oh,
Please
cute.
tell me it's a put on. Like that's the only way I can
No.
be able
It
to
makes me
sleep at
sad.
night.
Nah,
It
it's
does.
sad.
Well, look it over it. That's divorce city right there.
He's
That's
gonna
therapy.
love
Gonna be
that
over
kid
soon.
no matter what.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what we all gotta.
Anyway, what a great Easter for those kids and the mom.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure they enjoyed themselves.
No, that's
immensely.
gross. I hate that. That's grosser than the jizz thing,
Yeah,
It kind of is. I think you're right.
in my opinion.
I don't disagree. Anyway, it was a great Easter weekend. I think we really covered the whole gamut today. We really did. Got to Tucker. We got to fragile male egos and toxic masculinity. I thought that was great. Took another strip off evangelical extremist. Love it.
When they sat
Locke,
down at that
Locke,
last
thank you
supper.
so much for being open. with your feelings.
I don't do it very often, so
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. Keep it up.
These are real men. Not your Tucker Carlson variety men. We're real dudes. Take a piss.
Real dudes
open.
don't have to say they're real dudes out loud.
Make beef jerky.
Yep.
We cry sometimes.
Smoked meats.
I don't cry.
You don't cry?
Only a Canadian Tire ads. That's it.
Did you see the Tragically Hip one? It's out right now. The 100 Years thing.
No.
That actually
Did you cry?
hit me right. Almost.
I'm
100%
What is
honest.
this? What is this?
It was like 100 years of service to the community, and it's like a slowed down version of Ahead by a Century that's sung by children, and it's all about kids as you go through. And as a parent, when you watch it, it just shatters.
Do you cry when you watch those TV
by a
commercials?
century.
Hey, listen.
It's a good song.
Listen. I have a problem with Sarah
Are you
McLachlan.
some kind of wussy?
I have a problem with Sarah McLachlan coming on my TV telling me about the Toronto Humane Society.
Yeah.
I can't watch
so
those.
do I, dude. Yeah.
And I can't watch Canadian Tire commercials now, apparently.
Real men.
I've cried like 4 times in the last week.
In this podcast, I thought you were going to say on this podcast.
I don't mind a good cry, to be honest with you.
I hate it. Nothing.
I use crying. The only time I cry is if I'm really excited, but like I use it to like release emotion, and then I'm fine. It takes like 5 minutes, and then it's like done and over with.
Oh, so
right?
crying for women is like masturbating for guys?
No, no.
I'm asking.
Masturbating is like masturbating.
you know, women do that too, Dean.
Well, you're saying you cry as a release, right?
To release emotion.
Yeah, we do
not
the same.
tension.
I never cry when I masturbate, ever.
I
just
fucking
want to
doubt
make
that.
sure everyone hears that.
Did you know who cries when they masturbate? Tucker Carlson.
Tucker.
Every time he pulls it, he starts crying. Why can't someone else be doing this for me?
No,
it's always the wrong
Arthur.
person.
That Arthur
he's
comment.
crying.
Okay,
for another
I've
reason.
never not been on a podcast here where one of you hasn't made a masturbation hand signal. I've never been on a podcast without that.
You're welcome.
I don't know.
It's good to remember that we got something to live up to. Like,
Yeah. Listen,
Every time.
I will do my
Even
best
during the
to-
convoy, I think. Even during the convoy, I think.
Oh
it
yeah,
happened.
where I was like this, whatever, like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to like flee
Spider-Man.
my home, and Dean's just making a
Yeah.
hand
It's
gesture.
like whatever, fucking losers. Anyway, I said we did
you
a
guys
lot of
get
good work
the
today.
Monday off?
You did, didn't
I don't
you?
have. I don't.
Well, I took it.
employ myself.
Dude, she doesn't work on the radio anymore. She's MA
employ
on the air.
myself.
No, I mean in
I don't know.
Ontario.
IvisonVoice.com.
I
You
think
know,
the
it's a
government
holiday
thing?
here. It's a holiday.
Is
too,
it?
yeah.
No,
Okay.
it was a regular work day for me, but I had a vacation day today. That's why I'm here as early as
okay.
this is my week.
Yeah, I took a
to be
vacation
here,
day.
but yeah,
we were supposed to go into work today.
But you
I
didn't?
got up to do a bunch of work and put the locker room on, and it was you guys talking about stuff that happened 4 months ago. It was great.
Best of.
Best
we ran
of.
a best of this morning to make sure that we cover up all our bases.
The reason guys do best of so no one else slides in there and steals that job. By the way, that's why
exactly
I did
it.
it. Yeah. Before we go, I just want to acknowledge something that happened on yesterday. What's that? What'd you say? Okay. I want to acknowledge something that happened yesterday in the Blue Jays game. Buck Martinez announced that he had cancer. And Buck, if you know anything about the Blue Jays, or if you watch Blue Jays games, if you know Buck, or if you know Dan, Dan Shulman and Buck Martinez, legendary play-by-play group. Buck is vacillated between doing play-by-play and color. Brought Dan back a few years ago. Just the world, probably the best play-by-play color tandem in all of Major League Baseball. One guy leaves in the playoffs to go work for ESPN Radio. The other guy leaves to do ESPN TV International. Anyway, I'm waxing about how much I love Buck. Buck announced that he had cancer. I want to play the video for you real quick, and I want you to watch Back to Real Men. This is how a real dude does it. I want you to watch Buck kind of address it and then get on with the fucking show. Watch this.
Before we get to the ball game today, there is some news, and as many people have seen, as we welcome you into the booth, Buck put out a statement through Sportsnet. Mark Shapiro put out a statement through the Blue Jays as well. that Buck is going to be taking a medical leave of absence after today. And you are as tough as they come. You are as beloved as they come. And we know you're going to beat this, and we know you're going to be back with us soon. But I know you wanted to address it briefly before we get
Absolutely, Dan. The Blue Jays, Rogers, everybody has been so supportive. I got a wonderful crew to work with here, folks. And I'm going to go away for a while. I've got cancer, and I have to address that, obviously. But you know what? You're going to be in good hands with Dan and Pat and Scotty, and everybody's going to take good care of you. But you know what? I came here in 1981. Thought I'd be here for a year or two, and here we are. It's 2022, but my wife Arlene has been very supportive, and we're all positive, and we feel very confident we'll be back here for the pennant race. So let's play some baseball and have a good rest of the summer, folks.
Absolutely. Buck, as he mentioned, got here in 1981 as a huge part of this community, a huge part of the fabric and the history of this organization. And Buck, the outpouring that each of us who knows you is getting right now has been overwhelming, and deservedly so. So everybody, please keep Buck in your prayer.
Yeah. You know what's funny?
See that? What's that?
My wife, literally, we had the game on. I've been watching way more Jays this year. So I watched some preseason stuff. I've been watching the regular season when I'm having dinner or whatever. Hey, let's put the Jays game on. And my wife came into the kitchen and just haphazardly said, when Buck was talking, she goes, "How long has that guy been doing those games?"
41 years.
She goes, "I think he's been doing them as long as I can remember." And I sat there for a moment and I went, I don't remember anybody else ever calling Jays games.
It's tough. You got to go back. I mean, Rod Black called Jays games for a while. Jamie Campbell called Jays games for a while. But if you're looking for, he's the voice of the Blue Jays. Him and Dan Schulman, Tom Cheek, Jerry Howarth. I love Jerry. He's a friend of mine. He's a wonderful, lovely man. But yeah, 41 years he's been with this organization. Don't know what kind of cancer he has. Doesn't even matter. But did you see how he handled it? Yeah. You see how he's like, yeah, I got cancer. Got to deal with it. Obviously, I'm going to be back for the pennant race. Let's get on with baseball. I fucking found so much strength in that. I thought it was incredible. I really, really did. I just to be able to have someone address something that, you know, the uncertainty of cancer, living with it, having to have that uncomfortable conversation live. And it was fascinating because when he announced he had cancer, they put it out prior to the game. And I saw it come across the Blue Jays Twitter feed and Sportsnet's Twitter feed. And it's just what you'd think Buck would say. Today would be my last day in the booth for a little while. Didn't want any fanfare. Recently diagnosed with cancer. Begin the process of treatment coming weeks. Honored and privileged. Arrived in 1981. Continued support through this next challenge. Mean the world to me. I'm grateful for a tremendous medical team who has given me great optimism that I will come through this with flying colors. Hope to rejoin my Sportsnet teammates for the stretch run later this season. In the meantime, I'll be watching from the sidelines as I fight the good fight. Thank everyone in advance. Privacy for my family during this time, Buck Martinez. And then I found out that Jamie Campbell, who does the in-game stuff, also has leukemia. So you got a couple of guys, and I want to send all the love, all the support, all the strength, all the everything that you send, the vibes. Don't pray, so that's not happening. But to Buck and Jamie, and for everybody that's struggling with cancer, obviously post-pandemic too. I mean, you know, I've seen a lot of it. I've had a bunch of friends come down with stuff, weird stuff. And just keep him in your thoughts because they'll rotate through. And as Buck said, you know, Dan's got it. He's still brilliant. And, but you can't help but think of Dan, and you can't help but, Buck, and you can't help but, and Jamie as well. And that struggle that they have to kind of battle now. I think Jamie starts treatment for leukemia. He was diagnosed last year. He starts treatment for it, I believe, this year. So, yeah, thoughts and prayers to Buck Martinez and Jamie Campbell. For sure.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. It's been my entire life of Blue Jays baseball has been Buck Martinez. And it's a staple. It's odd to think of it.
Don't remember another voice. Yeah.
It
would be weird to turn on. It's going to be weird to turn on the games and not hear that voice.
Yeah. So
right? Yep.
Hopefully it is something relatively minor and he can slay through it and he's back for the pennant.
Seems like he feels that way. It seems like his medical team kind of feels that way too, and they kind of gave him the go-ahead, saying, yeah, we're going to try and deal with this, and you should be back for the pennant race, which is what he was talking about, which Jays were a wagon. If you watched them clean house this weekend, they were great. But anyway, thoughts and prayers to Buck, thoughts and prayers to Jamie Campbell as well. And I want to thank everybody for being here, including Marianne Iveson, looking for voice work, IvesonVoice.com. How fucking great is she on the show?
Yeah.
I'm still here, guys.
We need a dose. We need a dose of this every once in a while. Honestly, Marianne, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come back anytime.
I love being here. Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I like fighting. I like fighting with you guys.
I don't laugh as hard as I do when you're not on the show. I've always thought that you're pretty funny to have around.
Super funny.
Put us in our place.
And you've reminded us all to dig into our closets for our spring collection too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks, Melissa. Appreciate it.
Before we got on the show, she asked us if this is kind of the hazard of, not even a hazard, it's kind of the strange part about having a female come into the show.
Yeah.
Strong female presence, I believe they call you. Strong female presence.
Thank you.
Is that prior to getting on the show, she's like, hey guys.
I don't sound like that at all. What?
No, that was pretty close.
She's like,
actually.
hey guys, do you like rotate your spring clothes in when the summer's over or the winter's over? Yes or no? And I'm like, totally.
Hey there, guys.
I hope no.
I'd never even heard that before you said it. Before you're like, hey guys.
No, you have to rotate.
Hey,
you have to
guys.
rotate
No.
like your spring clothes to like your eye, where you're like right in front of your eyes. So
Yeah.
like now I have t-shirts and
My
bright
spring clothes are
colors.
mine.
And
I don't have. I have all this.
I
All
got
my clothes are
clothes.
the same, and I have coats that go over top in the winter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you guys only have black t-shirts. I think that's the.
That's right.
This one's blue.
This is kind of gray, actually.
Yeah. Anyway, it's just great having you here, even though
It's
we had
for
to wade
Heather.
through the. I didn't even
It's for
understand
Heather,
what you were
Ryan.
saying.
What? You're like,
like
I didn't listen
fuchsia.
to anything you said whole time.
No, you're like, you guys switch out your fashion seasons, and I'm like, what is she saying, Lachlan? What is this woman saying? What is this young woman talking about? What language is that? I don't even understand that.
Ashley bought a brand new pair of pants this weekend when we were out, and she says, "What do you think of these?" I said, "No, they're purple." She goes, "They're not purple. They're burgundy." I said, "They're brown purple." Like we don't understand
We don't
any
get
of the
it.
shit that you guys talk about when it comes to clothes. There's no rules when it comes to clothes.
My
for
wife did that
men.
this weekend too. She took a bunch of shit out from
Yes!
behind. And, yeah.
Yeah. See.
Phenomenon.
She had all these clothes out on the bed. And I guess she does
Right?
retire stuff. It
Yeah,
wasn't really-
Rihanna's like,
Rhiannon,
yeah, you have to
you're-
rotate the wardrobe from fall and winter to summer. Got too
Yeah.
much shit and need to keep it from getting out of control. Dude, fucking, I cannot believe this.
I
But
kind of
Ray
do.
dumped in here too. He changes his out with the winter and the spring clothes.
No, those are your tires, Ray.
Ray's an embarrassment to dudes.
That's a tire.
What?
That's
not
a real.
that's not
Ray's a
clothes.
real man, though.
Yeah, he is.
No. Here's the problem. I mean, you're dealing with. I have like t-shirts, jeans, and that's it. Like that's.
Yeah.
I don't.
What
have,
about What about your cardigans and your fall sweater?
Cardigans.
What about your
What about
polo?
What about your like cozy sweaters for winter? And
They're in the,
your-
you know what?
No.
The cardigans are in the barely used section of the closet. I got two
Yeah, the
sections.
back.
The right is all the shit I use all the time, 12 months of the year. And the left is like
I do the
stuff I
same
might
thing.
haul out from time to
stuff
time.
your
maybe
mother
some
buys
dress-
you.
Yeah,
Like-
cardigans, pullovers, like super loser dress-up
wear that
shirts with
shit.
the buttons and the collars and stuff. It's
Don't
on the
you want
left.
to look nice for your wives and stuff? Like, don't you want to look like
No.
Dean
But there's
Dean
gonna
doesn't wanna
date-
look
Don't
nice
have
for
one.
Anybody's wife.
I see now. I'm with
Especially his
Ryan.
own.
Like this is a life hack for a lot of guys. Is you can have a bunch of the same clothes. It's the coat that makes the difference, or the overshirt that makes the difference. Because you can have a totally different look with a coat and still wear the
Marianne.
same clothes. And here's the thing: you don't ever have to when you're me or you're Ryan or you're Lachlan. See, and this is why it's again tough. I mean, sorry, I was going to go down the road and say tough to be a female, but I'm saying guys don't have the same hangups
easier.
when it comes to
Way
clothes.
easier.
Way
Here's
easier.
the thing, Marianne, and this will be great advice for you. You are going to meet a young man soon, and he's going to hang around, and you two are going to do the whole dance, and you're going to have the whole conversation, and it'll happen. You'll find a guy, and for a good 5 to 10 years of that relationship, he's going to put out the air, give you the illusion that he actually gives a shit. And then at a certain point, and it's usually the 10-year mark, he's going to realize that you're giving up
None
on
of this
him,
is true.
and he's
None of this
giving
is
up
true.
on you, and then he is just going to go living his life the way he would have normally lived it without you. So that's
How
You need a
positive
Tucker
was that?
Carlson special.
Bet you can't wait to get married now.
You need your own special, Lachlan.
I'm not wrong.
Yeah, you are.
For the first 5-10 years, we actually try to make them feel like they're having an impact on our lives. And then as soon as we've
Dude,
realized
that is
they've
your
given up-
relationship. No, that's your relationship. What you're
All
doing
right,
is you're
Mr.
telling us.
Married guy. Who's
Lachlan.
the fucking one married here?
That's true, actually. That's very true.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got a point.
Thank you. I'm just being honest. It took
I could
about 10
weigh in on
years.
marriage.
I bought shirts with collars and stuff like that to give her the illusion.
And she
felt
stopped
good about
caring?
it.
Did she stop caring when you decided that you weren't going to follow through?
There
with
was a
when she's
point
like-
where she realized she was spending money on stuff I was never going to wear, right?
Mhm.
And that
Okay. Like
Okay,
during the
ask.
pandemic, though, I think like the last couple of years, I've only been wearing leggings, t-shirts, cozy sweaters. So it's kind of so now I'm just, that the pandemic's like I don't know if it's over, but like it kind of reinvigorates your closet. I'm kind of ambitious about wearing clothes I haven't worn in a couple years. And I started dating someone and he's only seen me in leggings and sweaters. That's it. Like nothing fancy, nothing.
Does he like you in him?
I think so.
He's a good dude.
I think we have to go on like a real date first, like one of those where you like dress up and stuff.
have
right?
you seen his penis?
That was out of left field.
I was gonna like
Right,
slowly
like,
that
escalate.
determines where
that
the
is fucking-
relationship is.
That's heavy. She's talking about a guy that she's dating who's just wears certain clothes and she hasn't seen him in her.
It is a legitimate question.
No, it isn't.
It's
The
a
first question
legitimate
out of your mouth
question.
is, "Have you seen his penis?" It's like she probably didn't even like that word.
You know
Marianne.
she doesn't even like that word.
She hates the word.
Marianne,
Yeah.
have you seen his pogo stick?
You don't have to answer that.
Let me veer this
Or you
fucking
do.
boat out of the rocks for a second. Marianne,
It's
just
funny.
so you're aware.
If she has, it will determine whether or not he is going to give a shit about what she's dressed in and vice versa.
Okay, so
Oh wow.
I'm not
So
gonna
you
answer.
can choose to not answer him. By the way, like this is what he does to people. He runs their show. Like
Heavy out.
he'll ask a question and then force you to and almost like he's telling you this is part of the show, but he's really just doing this for him. He just wants you to know if you've seen the guy's wiener. That's all. Don't answer him.
Ryan, what were you gonna say? Ask something.
And I think every male on this panel will agree. The amount of effort that you girls put into yourselves when it comes to this shit is for each
Herculean.
other, and it's not for us.
Dang.
Just so you know.
That's true.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. No, I would agree.
I said something to my wife this week.
And the effort we put into making ourselves look the way we think you want us to look is for you, not for us.
But there's
That's true.
there's something about being like putting on a great pair of like jeans and a tight shirt and whatever makes you feel good as a woman, whatever that looks like, right? I think there's something about feeling confident and feeling good and feeling sexy and feeling hot, and I think it adds
We're
to the
all
whole.
for that. We're all
Right?
for that.
Yeah.
Right? So yes, it's for other women, but I think it's also about our own self-confidence too and what we feel good in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just so
none
you
of
know,
that
we don't,
applies
No
to
one
we
us.
don't give a
no one's
flying
arguing me,
monkey's
yeah.
shit about it. Just so you know,
No,
we
no.
don't care.
I dress according to need. Same reason why I eat. It's like I'm kind of hungry. I might as well eat something. And I'm like, I can't go out naked today. I might as well put this stuff on. Like that's kind of pants, shirt. And then to take the confusion out of my life, I have 20 of the same pair of pants and probably 40 of the same shirts, variations of the shirt, because we're ridiculous. I'm a ridiculous human being.
I
Like,
wear the
I'm
same pair of
ridiculous.
shoes
How is that
every day.
ridiculous,
I
though?
wear them
That's-
until they
that's
fall
sensible.
off my feet, and then I go buy the exact same pair, and I get
Well,
mad when
because
they change it
you
up.
know what? Exactly, but I'm ridiculous because I'm like now I'm stuck in this like black shirt jeans thing where like if I meet somebody and they're gonna come in and look at my closet, they'll be like this. Are you like autistic or are you okay? Like is you all right? And I feel sorry for
Are you
every
Steve
woman.
Jobs? Are you Steve Jobs?
Colorblind. No, you know, like I find it very practical. I'm sorry, I just do.
I do too.
Practicality over frivolity, and here we go. You know, like just like you said, put something on so that nobody has to witness this out in public.
Comfort.
And yeah, comfort.
Comfort first, always.
Like I always feel terrible, and I found this out today. Did you know high heels were invented for men back in the 10th century? Did you know that? Because these little dweebs are walking around like men were so much shorter than women back then for some reason. So intense, and then they morphed into women using it, and I'm like, oh great, we did that to women too. I've heard stories about women in high heels.
We also
and I'm like,
invented the bra.
Yeah.
I don't get the high heel
For
thing.
us.
My wife.
Like, can you
wears the high
imagine
heels
forcing
to work.
yourself to be uncomfortable for a whole night like Marianne? Like, I have all kinds of I revere women because of just the bullshit they have to go through with high heels. Nonetheless, all the other clothes.
Heels are like once or twice a year, maybe a wedding. But no, I have too many injuries to wear.
Afraid of falling down?
I've
My
just
ankles
never. I've
give
never.
out.
High heels are dumb. They're dumb. They look
And they're
great. But
super, super painful again. But like, as long as, so if I'm going to go on a date, like, there has to be a short distance. If I'm wearing heels, he has to park very close to the door. That's it.
That's fair.
Super close.
That's pretty fun.
If you want me to be hot, we have to
Park
close to the door.
accordingly.
Yeah.
Park accordingly. Fascinating. So many more different issues between men and women. I feel like we should have you back to talk
That's
about.
why
them.
I love
It's
having
clothing.
her here. She's
I
very
know.
open and honest with us, and she doesn't hold back.
Completely
and,
honest.
Yeah. What? Well, Lachlan, drop it.
I don't think she wants to tell you anything about her personal life. I think she
It
wants to keep
does
that for her.
determine where the relationship is at. I am.
If
not
you've seen
fucking
someone's
wrong.
genitals, no, it doesn't
Yes,
determine.
it does. It
It
is
can be a game
it
changer
is a-
depending on that game of genital roulette you play, but it doesn't have anything to do with like deciding if you want to be with somebody unless it's super small.
No, absolutely
or
not.
super like abused.
We're talking about how men and women judge each other.
Yeah.
And the lies that they tell each other, right? I am trying to gauge where she's at in that progression of the relationship.
What if I gave you time? Would that satisfy your like?
Like how long she's been seeing.
Yeah.
the
No,
guy,
because
will
I
that
don't
help?
know you. You could be like a 1 week girl. You could be a 3-month girl. You could be a 6-month girl.
That's nice.
There's nothing wrong with it. What?
He's not judging. He's just saying.
Different. It's different per person. It's different per person.
It is
he said
very
just
different,
saying.
and it doesn't
It's
even
fine, man.
matter about like that. Religion doesn't even play a part.
Okay. All right. So say I had, or say I had not. How does that determine the clothes?
Seen the wiener?
Like what difference?
It has to do with how long you've been together and how much he wants to continue to do that.
Like,
and how much effort he's going to put into how he looks. So your idea of where he's at mentally about trying to look good is all determined on that one thing for men.
I completely disagree.
Yeah,
to the point where I don't even know how you're coming up with this shit.
It's like one. Like
It's
if
such
if
a
you crosses
stretch.
you cross
not a
that.
stretch at all.
You breach that line, and then all of a sudden it just falls apart.
No.
Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying.
wait,
I'm
am I
saying
a-
like.
Go ahead, Marianne. Go ahead.
So, but I'm already just wearing leggings and a sweater. So if something
Doesn't
that we
matter.
breached, that
Doesn't
means
matter. He doesn't care.
He's talking
you are
about
asking
Lachlan
about
means him.
us and whether or not what we're
Yeah.
wearing, men are wearing.
Pre-breach or post-breach.
You think so the guy dresses better pre-penis seeing, or he dresses worse post-penis seeing? That's what you're saying?
If he is still in the stage of trying to get
he's
you,
always worn the same thing from the start, like
Okay.
similar outfit.
But just one, like it just takes once, Lachlan, to make that switch in your mind here, or
I guess so. In Lachlan's poison brain, what he thinks
he's
is that the
still-
second
if
he
he's
shows
still
someone his
trying to
penis,
impress
he can start
Marianne.
dressing comfortably.
if
I
he's
think
still
that's what
trying
he's
to
saying.
if he's still trying to impress Marianne, he is going to be diligent about how he looks. He's going to shave. He's going to find out what she likes about his appearance, and he's going to try to placate that.
Has
right?
that happened?
And it will take some time for him to throw in the towel and give up on that.
He's definitely neat and like very neat.
And maybe he's just a neat guy. Maybe he's not your typical guy. Maybe he isn't too worried about impressing you, and then maybe you got a good one.
Is he? Do you
But
think
if
he
he's a
worries
sack
about
of shit like
impressing
most
people?
men,
Or does
then
he? If he's
his
a
true
sack of
colors?
shit like
He's
that.
hiding his
fucking
true
fascinating, Lachlan.
colors.
You know what? And I gotta tell you, he's kind of onto something, even though he's fucked in
I'm
the
not.
head.
I'm never wrong. What have you guys ever? How long have we been doing this?
A couple years. Year and a half.
Marianne, you might have a good one, and maybe he will maintain this level of cleanliness and upkeep for the remainder of your relationship, however long that. But there's also a good chance
maybe
when he realizes that he can.
But it goes for women.
It only smells that way when I rub it.
Maybe he'll worship.
This is the problem, the world that we live in. We're all trying to we're all lying to each other. We do it every day.
You know, it's funny because you're
so
so confused. Yeah, he's laughing so hard he can't get it.
I'm getting ready to go see Marianne tonight. That's all.
He actually talks like that. He talks.
I knew it. That's hot, eh?
Well, he's probably from the Ottawa Valley then.
Ashley hates it when I talk like that. She fucking drives her nuts when I put that accent on. I'll pick my belly button and start talking like that. She tells me to get the fuck out of the house.
That's a video.
I made a mistake. I shouldn't have told you. I shouldn't have told you guys.
You made a huge fucking mistake.
Huge mistake.
Have you met Lachlan? Never, ever repeat anything in front of him you don't want to have used against you. Ever. Ever. It's a fucking rule. We live by it here.
Too.
Yeah, I've told Lindley amazing things that I will never tell Lachlan. I want to tell Lachlan, but I can't tell Lachlan. And the reason why I can't tell him is because I know he'll do this. He'll do this like he's doing it to you right now.
Yeah, it's just safe.
And he admits it. Yeah.
What's this boy's name?
She's not going to give you his name.
Okay, what does he do? What's he do for a living?
All right, yeah.
Why are we doing this 20 questions right now?
I don't know. We're curious about you.
No, we're not. You are.
I think you're being nosy.
You want to call Marianne after the show, Lachlan?
Dude, he is. You know what he is? He's the real house husband of fucking Spruce Grove. That's
really
what he is. He wants to know everybody's dirt so he can use it. It has nothing to do with him trying to get in touch with you or trying to fucking learn about you. What he's doing is he's collecting ammunition. And he puts it in his fucking front pocket and then he brings it out later because that's who he is. I know it because I'm the exact same way. I'm the exact same person. What he's doing is he's looking for weakness so that he can put it in his little weakness box, carry it around, and then go, there's Marianne. I got the old weakness there. I'll just shoot it right at her. Boom. What about your boyfriend's small penis?
Look
That's
at how
the way this goes.
Look at
there
how
is
competent.
no weakness about him.
Oh.
There we go. We got our answer.
There you go.
Now we can go home.
Is he a real man?
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Is that enough?
Is he a real dude? Is he a real
Does he
man?
drink egg yolks?
A lot of tanning.
Shirtless.
A lot of tanning. Does he push tires around?
Thank you, Marianne Iveson at MA.
I just feel like I was on
here.
trial. Holy
Yeah, well,
cow.
you were. This happens once a week. Lachlan will go at somebody and make them sweat. The sweat will pour down their back, and I usually get a DM like, "It's like, is he for real?"
Or
I'm like,
or
just go with it. Just go.
No,
with it.
okay.
Or we get. Did I go too far?
Oh yeah.
I'm slowly having like I'm loving different things about you guys. So I find that I agree with Lachlan a lot, but I also find that we fight the most.
Well, for sure you do.
I can see. I can see
That's
that
because you're very similar people. That's usually how that works.
I can see that.
Anyway, I enjoy I enjoy the fact that you stand up for yourself as well.
Awesome.
Which
Yeah,
like
come
your
back
microphone.
anytime.
Yeah.
Come back anytime. Lovely tulips in the background there. Your place looks incredible. Microphone is still very intimidating to all of us.
Very intimidating.
And your bunny ears look great. And loved what you have to add. You come back anytime, Marianne.
That was great.
All right.
Thanks, gentlemen.
Talk to you soon. Marianne Iveson.
Marianne.
IvesonVoice.com if you're looking for a very professional person to be able to voice your stuff.
She
at
has
MA
that
on the air.
quality in her voice. She sounds like somebody that does voiceovers.
She does a ton of it.
Like
yeah.
she reminds me of a girl I used to work with. Lady. I don't know did I just fucking make a huge error there? I worked with this woman, who had a very
help it.
similar.
Keep going.
Yeah. Dude, let's ice
And
you.
she's
We're going to
now
shut up and just
making
watch you fucking sing.
ton of money
Doing
that voiceover
voice
shit.
work. Yeah.
Yes, she was fucking killer at it. She just had this just real clean delivery.
Apparently, the industry is very lacking in females for freelance. We found out Ashley's actually picked up a few gigs through Bonzi of all people that are looking because some of his clients are looking for female voices and they can't find any. So it's definitely a lucrative venture for women that speak clearly that would like to get into the game.
Yeah, but she's so pro though. I've heard some of her stuff. She's like there's like voice people then there's voice people. She's one of those voice people. She's fucking incredible.
Yes. And I was gonna say, there's that. Hey, everybody. There's that, and that old school sound, and people are looking now for female voices that sound real.
Yeah.
Have you heard the woman on TSN that does the basketball stuff?
Sportsnet.
Sportsnet?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Like, I mean, that one jumps out at me all the time because
she's incredible. And you know what what's awesome about that is that she's a person of color, right? And they actually went out to get representation to bring someone in to do that job, and she's lights out.
She's fucking
she's
killer.
Incredible. Yeah, whether or not that was part of the deal, I don't know. And I applaud every part of representation, equal representation, but she's incredible. And you're right, you can make so much fucking money doing voice work. It is incredible. Like, you can read like a 30-second commercial.
I wish I didn't sound like a tool.
$5,000.
If I did,
depending
if
on
I
who you're
sounded,
with.
yeah, I could make some fucking money because I can actually read. No.
You could put that radio voice on.
I sound like a dick.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
When you do a radio voice,
you fuck.
Yeah, but it's different when you read commercials. Like, reading commercials, you feel like you're acting, and you sit there and someone gives you a script and you're like, give me an upbeat read. And you're going, fuck, I'm not an upbeat guy. I can't give you an upbeat read. I'm going to sound like a douche.
Ryan, my stuff sounds like me. It sounds like
we had this discussion this weekend.
Everything I do sounds like me. Everything I write, everything I read, it just sounds like fucking asshole Locke. That doesn't sell Mercedes-Benz.
No, but if somebody gave you something to read that you didn't write.
I worked with this guy, man.
Monster truck commercials, dude, you'd fucking kill them.
Yeah.
Beer commercials.
Sunday.
You gotta buy the whole seat, but you're only gonna need the edge.
See, that's the shit that I used to get. I used to do electronics stores all the time, right? And be selling
Crazy
fucking
Kelly's Electronics. Come down and get your stereo. That kind of thing.
Babe Lure Radio.
I worked with this guy, BJ and Hal in Winnipeg, and he used to fucking go into the booth and read spots, and it was like having like one of the best voice guys in the country.
Yeah.
And his spots, you couldn't tell it was him doing the voice. His radio show, this happened like countless times where I'd hear, who fucking voiced it? That's BJ. I'm like, what? Come on. He had an unbelievable read. He could have made just a shit killing in that industry. Yeah. There's guys out there with that delivery in that voice, and there's some women out there too. And I bet
Marianne definitely, she's got the chops for it for sure.
Yeah, she's awesome. IvisonVoice.com if you're looking for someone to do your voice work. She's incredible.
I'm a little too nasally too. Oh, my voice is up front here, right?
Thank you.
You'd be good for like audiobooks.
Yeah. You'd be great at kids books.
Kids books. What are those?
Good Night Moon. I'd love the outtakes. I'd like the outtakes from your read. That'd be great.
Oh, one Christmas,
the 50 Shades of Grey with
Gilbert. One Christmas party, they did an outtakes of a bunch of boy shit, and they stopped using me. This was at the last radio station. They don't use me here. I don't do any voicing. But the last station, and they played a bunch of outtakes, and every third one was me yelling, "Who fucking wrote this?"
Love it.
The Christmas party.
Love it.
Just angry Locke. My wife was mortified.
Did you ever do anything like that, Dean? Voice
What's
stuff?
that?
Like voice stuff, like third party stuff, like outside of the radio station?
No, never.
No,
because I was too busy. I was too busy, and like that was work for people that needed it, and I'm like, I don't want to take their jobs too, right?
Such a dick.
I got asked to do a ton of voice work. I still do, and I might.
Why wouldn't you?
Because
you
I'm
got
like,
a killer voice for it.
Well, I don't know about that, but
you do.
I always used to think
Dean's got a better voice than I do for it, for sure. Yeah.
Dean had that fucking huge dough. What's that?
Dean had he would drive up to the front of the building and wave his keys, get out of the car and wave his keys, and interns would run out and go park his car. He wasn't voicing fucking spots.
I was just going to say, they asked Dean to voice a spot, and he would just get the intern to go and do it. No, that was me. Really was me.
Yeah.
But you can do fire me.
I'm not so necessarily proud of that, right? Like every time you bring it up, I'm like,
you've grown.
Yeah, but I can tell you, it was pretty fucking awesome. Getting to work in the morning at 3:00, throwing my keys to an intern or Todd.
Todd, can we get Todd on? Is
No.
Todd?
No, he sells mushrooms. No, I'm done. And then they
Todd, see what kind of damage you did to him.
Not good. And then I walked into the studio, and my coffee would be there, chocolate raspberry coffee.
Such a
all the
It's
jizz
a
for the
Tucker-
coffee too. The
it's a
cream, the
Tucker
sweetness.
Carlson jizz coffee.
Chocolate raspberry. I like flavored coffee. I really do. Anyway, wasn't the best way to live, because then I'm like, when it came time to doing my own stuff, I'm like, I don't do that. And then all of a sudden you're like, you're a fucking loser. You have become a
True
loser.
story.
Everybody
we were
that
having
made fun
we
of-
were having
yeah.
one of our drunk, stoned night conversations, and Dean and I were talking about my radio show or whatever, something, and I brought up that I op the board, and he was like, "Hold on, wait a minute, what? You run your own board?"
They don't have somebody for that?
Yeah. No, I didn't do that either.
You don't have a guy?
No.
Yeah. Oh,
No.
I can't. I'm too much of a control freak. I couldn't. There, no one would last.
I should have done it.
I'm
I
on-
raged when someone didn't do something right too. Like if someone missed the post or misplayed something or fired the wrong thing, I'd fucking lose it. I'm like, you're paid to press buttons. Like, fucking lose.
Oh my
me.
god! I made a kid. Well, I've made multiple kids cry.
Yeah, me too.
When I'm on
I'm not
location,
proud of it,
And then he
though.
got to work.
I'm not proud of it. Like, I'm not proud of my behavior in a radio station when I wasn't there, even though I was a good dude. I thought I was anyway. I'm fucking projected. But I was like all those little things were just like, you're not a good dude. Fuck, you make people get you coffee. You make people park your car. You're fully capable of doing those things together. You just think other people should have to do it so you don't have to. That's fucking no way to live, dude.
You had that
But
mentality maybe
it
of
was awesome.
Yeah, you had that mentality maybe of you all have jobs because I have a job.
It was
I
partially
wasn't
true.
here.
It was partially true.
listen. I probably won't.
It was
admit
true.
to saying this. I probably won't admit to saying this down the road. But we had a very honest podcast today. I've heard all these stories about Dean, and we've repeated them multiple times. And I don't judge you, Dean.
Bullshit. Bullshit. I cannot wait for
Yes,
you
you
to
do.
fucking load these into that gun that Dean was talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's what he's going to do with
He
them.
brings it up all the time. He knows that I hate how entitled I used to be. And every time we'll be on the phone one night, he'll be drunk. I'll have smoked a bowl. And I'm like, how's it going? He's like, hey, remember when you used to make your friends do all your dirty work? And I'm like, yes, I do.
I do not do that.
Kinda.
Oh.
That's
Lachlan,
that's what we do
call,
for each other.
Call me one day this week and I'll tell you all about Adrian.
Oh, I know about Adrian. I know a little bit.
Dean,
about
I can't say that. Dean actually made up for that down the road. Dean really made up for that one. So, yeah.
I think if we take a look back and we look at our lives,
There's a lot going
and
on here right now.
Hold on, no. This is a good out. This is a way to get out.
Okay.
If we take a real strong look and we're being really, really honest with ourselves, like 20-year-old Locke, 30-year-old Locke, 40-year-old Locke, right?
50.
I
60,
can
keep
honestly
going.
say that I've never been as big as an asshole as Dean.
I didn't know that's where that was going. Here, let me get you out of this, buddy. Can you just put your throat here so I can put my foot on it?
I love it so much, though.
He's so fucking funny.
I love it
you.
so much. I love it that he does it to me. I love it that I'm like fall for it every time. I'm like, he was going to say something really important here. He's going to stroke me a little bit. I could use that today. And he's like, and he cuts your balls off right at the right moment all the time. He just
That's a
pulls them
friend.
out and he chops them off. And then he shows them to you. He's like, have a look at this. I got your nuts
That's
off
what I
right there
did.
in front of everybody on your show. I love it.
Here's your apostate. You can see it right here. inside the bag.
That's
so
the most
fucking
fun I've had in weeks.
That was a great time, guys. Thanks a lot. That was a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun.
Really appreciate it. That is Lachlan Cross, 95.7 Cruise FM in Edmonton at Lachlan.
Cold star.
Yeah, no, I can't. You don't have to bring it up. No one can see it. It just looks like food. Don't bring up your cold sores on the podcast because no one can see the cold sore.
Don't touch it either.
Yeah, you just look like one of those loser kids from high school that like never used chapstick. That's all it is. That's all it. Yeah, you just look like a meth head. No big deal.
I got the fucking meth head teeth, and now I got fucking blisters.
You have too many teeth for a meth head.
Yeah, I've never seen someone with 2 sets of teeth. Never.
Should they see me eat a steak?
Record time.
You've never been as much of an asshole as me. I've never seen a man with 4 sets of incisors in my life.
You should see fucking when I just need to look at a cow when they run.
Anyway, that's Lachlan Cross, 95.7 Cruise FM in Edmonton. Follow him on Twitter at Lachlan Cross. That is my friend Ryan Lindley.
Happy Easter.
Ryan Lindley. Happy Easter to you too. Yeah. Right. Don't forget. Easter is a good religious holiday. Brian, you got a sheeple shepherd tonight?
Yeah. Are you going to make up for all your past sins and opt for me?
Yep. Do you need me to opt for you? Is that the deal?
Possibly, yeah. We'll talk about it after the show. But yeah, it's Sheeple Shepherd. We haven't been live since October of 2021. Wow. So we're coming back, and we're talking about adverse childhood events that happen that what happens to you later on in life when you get fucked over as a kid. And the kids in Ukraine really, like those pictures that keep coming up through the Associated Press of the kids that are in Bucha and, or Bucha, sorry. It really hit me, and I thought, we have issues. Those kids have normal kid issues, parents that fight, alcoholism, whatever, drug problems, suicides, murders. They've witnessed shit just normally, and now they're in the middle of a fucking war, right? So what's this going to do to these kids down the road? So I was very lucky. I was able to reach out, and I will have Ray Rout with me today as well. And Ray works in that field of mental health. Doesn't want to get too specific just because of his job, but he's going to be on as a more of an expert voice to talk about this ACE test. And we've put it out on Twitter. We put it out on the website. Do the test if you are watching the show and see where you fall. It's really interesting to find out, like, it's like I can't remember which one. I think it was like lung cancer. There's like a 400% increase if you have a certain ACE score of cancers and hormonal issues, and not just dependency, not just chemical dependency problems, but actual physical ailments. Like,
so you guys are talking about the tie-ins to mental and physical, like terrible mental and physical terrible health for kids that go through very serious trauma, life-changing trauma. That's what you're talking about.
Childhood
ACE score.
Yeah, childhood. Yeah. Anything that happened to you before you were 18 years of age that was brought on by like somebody that you trusted or an older person in your life, and what it does and how it manifests later on down the road. And and you think, okay, yeah, I get it. They'll have a drug addiction, they'll have a booze problem, whatever. It goes further than that, and the connections that the studies are making. It was Kaiser Permanente and the CDC were behind the study, as well as some independents across the world.
Christians won't read that study.
No, they won't. Of course not. But because they went across it spans. Like I say, anybody is susceptible to it. My need was to find out about, okay, and what about these kids in war? These kids are seeing their parents get blown up. These kids are watching their childhood homes in rubble. Like that kid standing there with a cat, that picture breaks my heart every time I see it.
This one.
Yeah.
And you can go see the article. It's a mental health article Ryan does, and he does a podcast called the Sheeple Shepherd Podcast, the adverse childhood events test that you can actually go and take. If you've got a kid that's struggling, if you got someone in your family who is of a certain age, a younger age, who's had a real hard time, maybe some traumatic events, maybe the pandemic, who knows? I mean, there's you took some pretty extreme examples in here, which is great because you got a chance to have that baseline, right? Which is awesome. But go and read this article. It's really fascinating. If you've got kids, and if if you're a young person and you want to kind of figure out what it is that you're dealing with, it's a big deal. And after I read it, I remember sitting there going, my God, I had no idea. And we all know that trauma can affect you physically. I didn't know it could affect someone physically that much later in life. Like, I had no fucking idea. So.
Yeah, it's wild. It's insane to think that, I could have, high cholesterol because I had a childhood or an adverse childhood event. Like, how the fuck does that happen? And it explains in the study the roads that they take to lead it there, and the increases, like the hundreds of percent of increases that you're susceptible to it. So the test is meant to be taken if you're an adult. Take the test yourself now, and you can see where and it's out of 10. It'll take you less than 45 seconds to complete it if you read fast, and you'll get a score, and then you can see where you land in that chart. So Ashley's score is pretty interesting. She's had a lot of shit go down. I as well. I explained it in the article where mine came from. But we'll talk more about it tonight with Ray.
Good. Well, I'm looking forward to it. You got a bunch of people. I was just looking in the comment section. They're really excited to be part of that podcast and I learn a little bit about it. And dude, and you know what's funny is that I think about these things often. I think about trauma often. I get a chance to work with people that have mental or physical or addiction issues when it comes to how they've lived their life, and not having the tools to be able to deal with it. And this is a really good fact-finding thing for adults to do, right? Because you walk through your entire life, to have a serious moment for a second. We walk through our entire lives with the baggage of everything we've seen, touched, felt, smell, every time we've been wronged, surviving literally 18 years of our own parents' mental issues, and then trying to figure out how to make life work when you're out on your own and you get hit, and you're hit, you then hit other people in return. And over that time, things happen to you, but it all comes back to, from everything that I've read and all the work that I've done, it all comes back to the duplicity that's created by major childhood events, major childhood trauma, or traumas that you've had to endure and you can't square and you can't figure out. You feel like you might be at fault for. And it sits in your head to the point where it makes you sick, makes you physically sick. And so for a lot of people that are trying to find their way out, right? Find their way out of what they're dealing with, find their way out of the pain that was caused by whatever led to you feeling this misery, the depression, the anxiety, the PTSD, largely undiagnosed in a lot of different people. It is almost always because of childhood trauma. Might have been a close personal friend, might have been a family member. You might have an alcoholic dad or a drug addict mom. You might have just been ignored by your parents, right? You might have just had a dad that worked a lot and a mom that wasn't interested in anything to do with their kids. She was more interested in her social hierarchy. There are millions of reasons why people devolve into the person they devolve in. But that this article and the podcast you're going to do tonight goes a long way in explaining, and not just explaining, but kind of pointing to something where people can start, right? Which is what I loved about it.
Yeah, and I think it's important that if you're a new parent, get in onto this mindset of your child is literally a canvas that you paint, and what you do in those formative years is what lasts with those kids, and we lose that sometimes, I think. So it's nice to be cognizant of it. It's nice to be aware, and try to always keep that in the front of your mind, that everything you do. They're a little recorder. They're just a little recorder that they hold on to it, and it's how we process it later on as an adult, or we don't process later on as an adult. That where the trouble starts, and it just gets worse and worse and worse.
Well, you can't process something that you don't know how to process, right?
Exactly.
Like that's what I go back to all the time we all do. Everybody does. And the fucking coolest thing in the world, and I want to tell everybody this before we go, the coolest thing in the world, the most manly or womanly or humanly thing you could do is literally reach down for a hand that's reaching up and asking you for help. And even better than that, the coolest thing you could do is admit that you don't have the skills to be able to navigate the emotional part of life, right? Like that is, we're all damaged goods when we go out in the world. And every year and every experience heaps more damage, and we pack it away and we don't really deal with it. And it's an old adage, but it's so fucking true over time. Then you get to a point where you're so overwhelmed with all of that, you can't make sense out of your day. Then you start drinking meat, do drugs, you might go fucking crazy. I mean, there are a million different reasons that psychopathy leads to major life events. But the one biggest reason is that no one sat down to tell you that you're okay. There are ways that you can invest in figuring out what your problem is. And this is not your fault, right? It's your fault if you keep letting it go. It's your fault if you keep allowing life to fucking manhandle you and you don't get explanations for the way you are, how to manage your mind, how to train your brain, how to emotionally detach from all these things that have nothing to do with you, because things just are, right? Mm-hmm. You know, a child, and as a child who was abused by his father, like I was beat up by my dad a lot when I was a kid, and I love him to death. He's a wonderful, wonderful man. And the changes and the investment that he's made in his life have been incredible. But it took me like 30, 40 years to get to a point where I'm like, I got to figure this out. Why do I feel the way I feel? Why do I look at life the way I look at life? And it's because of all that and a whole bunch of other shit and the ways that I perceive the world, right? We perceive the world when we're in trouble, when we're hurt. We perceive this world like it's out to get us. And all of the, you know what that creates? Very fucking scared, sad people. And that is not the case. You had no part. People have no part in their childhood abuse. People have no part in the way that someone else treated them. It's someone else's problem. It's not yours, right? So being able to identify that, put tools in place to be able to really live a full life is like, it's incredible. And for you to be doing this podcast is great. So I'll be watching it tonight, maybe even opping it. Apparently.
Hop in if it's going to be live. So something tickles your fancy, come on and chat with us, because Ray will be there and it'll be a lot of fun.
I'll just listen to you fuckers.
Okay.
Thanks, buddy. Great to see you.
Take care. Good to see you too. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter, Christian friends. There goes Ryan. Thanks to Lachlan and Mary Ann for being here as well. We really appreciate it. Have a great day, everybody. Don't forget to tip your waiter. Also, be really nice if you said hi to our sponsors and friends over at Easy Auto Financial, easyautofinancial.ca. Get a car, get your financing. The financing's free. No one does that but easyautofinancial.ca. It's all turnkey as well, and there is no obligation. Go to easyautofinancial.ca. If you're looking for financing for a brand new vehicle. Also, don't forget our friends at Ed's Fine Imports. Have your gitch, fellas. I had to go there the other day and get like 10 new pairs because I got out of the Saks gitch. You know, Saks, FMY, all the old ones. These are way better. So I got rid of all the old ones and I went with gitch. Got 10 new pair. Tons of colors. You can order online, edsfineimports.com. Gitch 3 is your promo code. Try them for free today. Well, they're not free, actually. That's domination. Try them today. Ed will send you your Gitch and send you a free pair and use promo code GITCH3. Super easy to do, super easy to use, and fuck do they feel good when you put them on too. They never lose their stretch either, which is awesome. And they got the pouch in the front. Luxury boxer briefs. Gitch from edsfineimports.com. Order your pair today. He'll send you a free pair with promo code GITCH3. And domination.com. Dominate with your content. Use domination.com, dmntn.com. For people that do podcasting, streaming, gaming, etc. Super easy to get those promos out. Minutes instead of hours. Saves you all kinds of time. If you're into doing online content or video content, audio content, try Domination today. It'll make your life a billion times easier. Try them for free, dmntn.com. Again, dmntn.com. Have a great day. Don't forget to sign up for a newsletter. That'd be awesome if you could. See you tomorrow with Alex. Bye.